Hurt in a car? Call our sponsor, William Matar. 844-444-4444. With a focus on motor vehicle accidents, the team at William Matar has handled thousands of cases like yours. Let them help you get the money you deserve after a motor vehicle accident. Rideshare, truck, motorcycle, car, only call William Matar. 844-444-4444. Welcome back to another episode of the Sabre Report podcast. My name is Jonah.
And I'm JP.
And before we get into anything Sabres related, I mean, I had this little dilemma going on in my mind as we were watching maybe the most insane sporting event of our lifetimes last night. If you were in that situation, like, it could be this year because the Bills could get to the Super Bowl, or if the Sabres ever got to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, where would you watch that game? Because I would not be able to go through those highs and lows, especially towards the end of the game in like a crowded room. I wouldn't even know what to do.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, if it was at home for a Sabres game, I'm there. But if it was like away, I don't know. I think I would watch with people because every time I've watched big games with people, none of these being the Sabres, by the way, all of them being Bills games, they have either been electric or very depressing, but they've all been group experiences.
I don't know. Game 7. It's like I have no dog in this fight. I was not rooting for one team or another. I was fully just taking the moment in, and I was getting like nervous myself, and like when the crazy stuff happened, it was like getting a rise out of me, and I don't know how some people like watch that and like the watch parties at stadiums or arenas. It's like, I don't know. I would have to be like, I feel like in my own like just one of those like prisoner rooms, like those soundproofed, just alone with a television.
I think the watch parties are interesting because, like, if the Sabres ever had, like, a party in the plaza sort of thing for a playoff game, like, I feel like that would be an awesome experience. But I don't disagree. I don't know if I'd be able to contain myself in a public setting. But, I mean, if I think of the best sports event I've ever watched, well, it's worst, but it's also probably the best viewing experience I've ever had with my friends was 13 seconds. So,
which we watched together, and like,
yeah, I mean, literally,
some people had interesting reactions to that game, and I'm just like,
exactly.
It's like grief. Everybody deals with it differently.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would trust myself in a Sabres Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
I'll just never forget that game. After we scored the touchdown before 13 seconds left, all of us were huddled around the TV, arms and arms. And like, that was, I don't know, one of the biggest highs, and then obviously one of the biggest lows, but that's always one of the things I think back on, like, holy crap, like, that was insane. And we all had different reactions. Someone broke a closet. Like, I think I just fell on the floor and like in disbelief. Some people stormed out of the room.
I mean, like, one of our good friends, who shall not be named, has he's put a hole in his wall before for a non-playoff game. It was like a Bills primetime game. I mean, I know the game. It was 2016 again, or 2015 against the Seahawks, and it was that whole field goal dilemma. Like what would that person do in like a Super Bowl setting? You're putting holes
I know
in
quite
the
a
wall.
few people where I don't know what they would do. One of my former roommates, I don't know what he would do.
Like,
I mean, I would say the same about us. Like, I don't know. Like, if Sabres Game 7, if UPL let in a weak goal, I think Christian would like put his head through a wall.
Like, it's not funny, okay? Because it's not funny. But like, you heard about like what IKF was saying last night that like Toronto fans were like threatening to like break his legs, which is just so messed up. But it's like that's how some people react.
Toronto fans.
Like it's just messed up.
Yeah.
And not saying Christian would threaten to break the legs of the starting goaltender, but I don't know. Those games just bring crazy emotions that I don't think people realize they have just out of them. I mean, I don't know. I was struggling to think like what is the comparable for that game to like another game in history? I think it's 13 seconds. Genuinely.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't the Super Bowl. I know it wasn't the Super Bowl, but I'm talking like franchise comparables, similar set. Like you think about where the Chiefs were at that point in time, and what the Bills were the up and comer, kind of, but like I feel like the Blue Jays kind of fit the mold of what the Bills were at that time, and like you could go back to 13 seconds and argue that the Bills were probably the better. At least Josh was probably the better quarterback in that game, and like the Chiefs just somehow found a way to get the win, and like the OT, it going to OT and Josh never touching the ball again. It's kind of reminiscent of, I don't know, like Bo Bichette never getting another at bat after he was taken out, something like that. Yeah. And I think that was like the closest comparable that I could really come up with. And even that, it wasn't games. It wasn't the Super Bowl. Like I'm just still like reeling from that game. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know how you recover from a loss like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Blue Jays are going to be a very different team next year. Like we bring up Bo Bichette. Like if they won the Super Bowl, they're paying him whatever he wants. Like it really doesn't matter. Now I think he leaves. Like they have other players that I think are going to leave. Like that's franchise altering stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, man, crazy. Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
hey, they get to watch the Leafs now. So
yeah, those poor guys. It's crazy. I mean, that wasn't even the hottest game on television either way. So
no, wasn't even the leading story of the sports world the next morning.
No. Nope.
The Buffalo Sabres are above 500, which I know it's kind of a bit of a juxtaposition of switching topics, but that is the case. The Buffalo Sabres are 5-4-3. Technically not over 500, but in the NHL world, they're above 500. And I believe they're above 500 for the first time since, I would have to go back and look. I mean, it was during the losing streak. I think they were like 3 games above it going into like Thanksgiving last year. The last time they were above 500 was Friday, November 29th of last year. That was the last point they dipped or rose above the 500 mark.
Yeah, they're on a 6-game point streak. I know they've lost 3 of these games, but they've secured 9 of their last 12 points. Like it's a weird spot to be in considering they had 3 overtime losses, 3-4-3 overtime losses in a row. But I mean, you switch one of those out with the regulation loss and switch one of those out with the regulation win. Like I think you're thinking a lot different, but you're in the same spot. Like 9 of your last 12 points is pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good. And do you want to know the funny thing? They are last in the Eastern Conference right now. Last place.
Seriously?
They are last place in the Eastern Conference. Because there are 6 teams with 13 points. There is not a team below 500 in the Eastern Conference right now.
It's the mid-conference.
Where if you hop over to the Western Conference, let's see, the Calgary Flames have 2 wins in 13 games. The St. Louis Blues have 3 in 12 games. San Jose, Minnesota is below 500. Vancouver's below 500. Nashville is 2 points out of a spot. They're below 500. Like Chicago has the same record as the Sabres, which is actually kind of funny. But like, what the hell is the Eastern Conference right now? I mean,
it is really weird.
This is going to be.
I noticed that I know you just said it, but 6 teams with 13 points, then 5. No, I think 6 more teams with 14 points.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
everybody's out of it, but everybody's in it at the same. Like the Sabres with one win, the Sabres could be third place in the Atlantic Division on Tuesday. And right now they sit at the bottom of the conference.
And the craziest one of all of this is the Penguins are still third with 18 points.
I would argue the craziest part of all this is Montreal is first. They're 9-3.
Yeah. I don't know. They look the part though. They do look very good. But it is a very weird conference. I mean, we have 12 games played. Other teams have 13. Like the Bruins have 14 games played, and they've only have one more point than us. Flyers only have 11 games played and have the same amount. But it's a weird Eastern Conference. It's at some point
weird
someone's going to break away and someone's going to fall off. But it's very weird. I mean, you just look at the bottom. Like we're tied with the Panthers, Leafs, and the Capitals.
Yeah, I mean. Crazy first month of the season, and it's gonna be interesting to see as time goes on who kind of separates themselves here. I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird that this is like gonna be a fairly positive episode. I mean, it was a stretch of 3 very frustrating losses. Two of them they probably deserve. Yeah, I mean they deserve probably to win 2 of them outright. I would say that the overtime loss against Columbus, they probably weren't the better team in that game, and luckily they were able to snag a point out of that. But it was a very frustrating stretch, and it's nice they capped it off with a little, a shootout win that they probably stole that one from Washington a little bit, but. The point streak lives. We're at 7 games now? 6 games?
6 games in a row.
6 games, point streak. I mean, I don't know. I think we might be overtime merchants, which is, we grew to hate the teams that did that.
Yep.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And you would argue the Sabres did both because they died a playoff team when they weren't that, and maybe we're seeing them become a version of the team that snags points in overtime on a bad night.
Yeah. If they could do that, then, just keep getting points. You can't complain, even if they do take the loss. It is what it is. But I could not believe that they went into this past overtime tied 3-3 again. Like, it was just genuinely setting up perfectly for a 4-3 OT loss for 4 in a row.
I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think it ever happened.
Exactly. I think it's the first time it probably ever happened 3 games in a row, let alone 4.
I mean, yeah, because you got to think about it. The first, overtime was instated. Well, I forget which season it was instated, but like a long time for the franchise. There wasn't overtime, there wasn't shootouts, so that takes a big portion out of it. And losing 4 games in a row in overtime, I don't think it's ever happened. And
with the odds of losing
with the same score is like probably there's an even lesser chance of that happening. So I don't. That would have been an interesting way to cap off the week. And I mean, weekly preview for next week would have just been, hey, let's not. If the score's 3-3 going into extra time, we might not pull this one out.
Yeah.
If we're just going off of recent sample size.
Yeah. It's weird because I think our 5-on-5 play has been pretty good. Like you said, we were probably the better team against the Bruins. We might have stolen one against the Jackets. Capitals was probably more even though they had more shots. But to be honest, our overtime play has been putrid. Like, it has not looked good, which is really weird because I do feel like in years past we've been pretty solid in overtime.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It doesn't help when the 2 of the players that you start overtime with basically every time just have been playing awful hockey in that period, and you're also probably keeping a few guys off the ice that should probably be out there as well. It's definitely been a struggle, and you probably look back at a few of those games and think you should have won them. But then at the same time, it's like the Columbus game, Kulich has a breakaway right into overtime. obviously going back to the Leafs game last Saturday, Jack Quinn is a 2-on-1 with Tage Thompson that he muffs, and then Owen Power has a breakaway that he muffs, and they go back and score the overtime winner. So it's, I don't know. I mean, people are going to get, like, it's bad play. But at the same time, like, 3-on-3, like, 3-on-3 hockey, to get mad at, it's like,
yeah,
3-on-3 is there for the entertainment value. And I'll say this, they definitely don't play conservative, which is very against the grain in terms of the wider end. Like, they don't, like, the goal against Boston is just the perfect example of that. Instead of taking their time circling around, Dahlin's just like, well, what if I played hero puck for a few seconds and Tage Thompson tried to join in, and, well, obviously it didn't end so well there, so I don't know. People are going to get mad at the overtime stuff, and myself included, because it is a little, it's just that, like, it's more so approach than anything that's just been questionable. But it's 3-on-3. It's fake hockey. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's just highlighted because it was 4 games in a row of overtime hockey.
Yeah,
it was funny last night though. The one shift they put out there. I mean, I
think it was the last shift of the period. I mean, like, Jordan Greenway taking the face-off, winning it back to Matthias Samuelsson. I mean, at least Rasmus Dahlin was out there. They nearly scored. Too. That was the funny thing. But I'm getting flashbacks. I still remember a game. Don Granato, I'm pretty sure, put Jordan Greenway and who's their names? Was it Okposo? I want to say he put Okposo and Jordan Greenway out there for an overtime shift. One game he coached. Like, I don't know. I feel like you can have, like, I don't think Josh Doan has gotten a shift in overtime yet.
No, I'm pretty sure he did last
game. Did he get one last night?
I think he
did. He
did.
Better have, because half the roster's hurt. I don't know. I don't want to microanalyze, like, overtime to the nth degree, because, like I said, fake hockey doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think it's just more the individual decisions that are made that you can more critique. And I mean, we already brought up the Tage Thompson one. I mean, that was just dumb, to go down on that.
Yeah, I just genuinely, like, that's just laziness, like, straight. Yeah. That one just made me mad. You could say, Dahlin, what are you doing? But Tage just was making a play that had, like, a 5% chance of working out, and it obviously did not. And yeah, just stuff like that cannot be happening from your best players.
Yeah, and then obviously the power plays, Owen Power.
Oh
plays.
Yeah, the Owen Power stuff. Yeah. We've kind of been all over the place. Do we want to pick a do we pick a game, pick a topic?
I think first we have to mention that Christian's once again missing a pod.
Yep.
It's just me and Jonah.
Yep. Load management, as we were told.
Yep.
He needed a few days to clear his head in Dallas, Texas.
Yep.
I think he's going to Galveston. That's just my thing. I think that's where he's actually headed. But he says he's
do think he's away for this weekend. But I do think if UPL had a bad game last night, Christian would have found a way to be on the spot tonight. Yes.
I would agree. So, that also means no Christian's Cafeteria this week. So I know it has a lot. It's triggered a cult following very quickly. So,
well,
unfortunately,
obviously not
have that.
Not this week. But I know he's going to a Dallas Stars game, so maybe he'll have a Dallas Stars arena one.
I could see him trying a new food like every period. He just wants to get a full just. He wants to see what Dallas has to offer. But I do have another surprise segment I think I might throw in here, have some fun with.
Oh, boy.
JP doesn't know what it is yet. He'll find out. But yeah, no Christian this week. Well, you mentioned Luukkonen. Should we get into what was probably the biggest conversation heading into last night, and which could have been the big conversation heading into today, had it not gone the way it did?
Yeah. I texted in our group chat before the game. I said, if UPL has a rough night, I have some not so kind words to say about Lindy Ruff and the Sabres. But it did work out. But the
That doesn't feel
goaltending,
fair. That doesn't feel fair. What would you have? Let's say he had a bad game. Let's say he let in 4 goals.
I would have said why. I don't understand why Colton Ellis hasn't played a game yet. Since he plays one game, had like 3 goals saved above expected. Like he had an incredible game, and obviously UPL had such a bad first game. I couldn't believe. I mean, I could believe it, but I don't think it's the right decision that Colton Ellis hasn't played another game since. Like if you're not going to play 3 goalies, then don't carry 3 goalies. I don't get that. Like Alex,
Well, they're going to lose. They know they're going to. He's not. Have you seen the current St. Louis Blues goalie situation? Have you seen like the Ottawa Senators goalie situation?
I understand.
He's not
completely.
surviving waivers.
I fully understand that. I just think it's a waste of a roster spot to have 3 goalies. We've had this conversation for 2 or 3 years now. So I agree with you, but if you have 3 goalies, you have to play all 3 of them. You can't just let a roster spot just waste right there. I don't even know if he's dressed. Like I'm pretty sure it's only been UPL and Alex Lyon dressing.
I mean, I feel like they would probably just tell you he's hurt right now.
I think he's been practicing though. Like I know he's had some things pop up, but I thought he's been practicing.
I didn't. This is probably where most people are going to disagree. I don't disagree with the move at all. Like, I seriously mean, I don't disagree with it at all. I fully understand why they did it, and I actually 100% support it. Which I know is probably, I feel like a lot of people are going like, why? It's Luukkonen. Why would you want him starting in that spot? Why, what has he done to deserve the second start? And I understand that. I don't think this team makes the playoffs if he's not if he's not good this season, if he doesn't give them 45 to 50 starts. I don't think they make the playoffs.
I mean, at this point, I feel like that would be a very high mark, but I know what you're getting at. I mean, considering Lions already started 9 games, UPL would have to start, 45 in the next 7?
He would have to be the starting goalie, which I think he has to be if they want to make the playoffs. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I don't think they make the playoffs if Alex Lyon's their starter.
I don't disagree with you. The premise of what you're saying, I agree with. Like I think if the Sabres do have a good season, UPL probably is their starting goaltender. Lyon had a very good first 7 games. His 8th game was all right, and then obviously his 9th game was not good.
Yeah, he wasn't good in Boston. I thought he was borderline.
He was the reason we
bad.
lost that game.
I mean, I know what was the first goal of the game. I'm trying to remember, trying to jog my memory. I mean, I know I know it's David Pastrnak, and I know he kind of faked a pass, but he just kind of got beat clean, and that was very savable. The 3rd goal was atrocious. And I know the 4th goal in overtime was a clear shot, but Jack Quinn took away the pass on the 2-on-1. It was Lyon versus Kuznetsov, and he just beat him clean over the glove.
He was the reason he lost that game.
I thought, yeah. And I know it's one bad game. I know it's the first bad game. I just think with Lyon, this is what he does. Like, this is his career, and it's a good thing you can rely on it. And he's never been a bad goalie. It's just, I don't know, especially considering the style of hockey this team plays. Like, when he was in Detroit, and he started, I mean, what did he start that season? What was it, 40 games, I believe it was? The year that they nearly made the playoffs, missed by a point. He started 44 games, and 904 save percentage, 3.05 goals against. Like, that's a good season. Let's see if I can pull up some of the advanced numbers super quickly. That's a starting goalie's mark. That's the workload you need from your starter to get in. And I understand that, maybe he's done that. Okay, here's the numbers. So he was about break even that season. He was a 1.01 goals saved above expected. So good, like he helped your team. My point is that, like, do you remember that Red Wings team? Like, Derek Lalonde was coaching that team. That was a low event, special teams heavy Red Wings team that, definitely rode the hot streaks of their goaltenders. But, this team's not good defensively. And I know with the improved defense, some people are going to be like, well, shouldn't they be better? I mean, on paper, they look better. And look, I understand, like, Rasmus Dahlin's not playing good hockey whatsoever right now. And Michael Kesselring is still getting his feet under him. But I still feel like when those two are going at a higher level, I still feel like this is a not good defensive hockey team just because it's Lindy Ruff hockey. He hasn't had good defensive hockey teams since Dominic Hasek was on the roster. The teams in the mid-2000s were very high event. I guess maybe they were a bit better defensively once towards the end of that team's as that core aged on and they had Miller winning that Vezina in 2010. They were probably a bit more well-rounded and, but they played to their goaltender again. But, in Dallas, they were very high event, and in New Jersey, he was very high event. And we're seeing it now. That's what they're looking to be. I mean, the JFresh numbers came out today. They're 7th in expected goals per 60. Great. That's what you want to see from this team. It doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel one-dimensional. But on the defensive side of things, I believe they're ranked 24th along those lines. And my point in all this is I don't know if Alex Lyon can give you the goaltending you need to make the playoffs for 45, 50 games in this system at the level that's required. And I'm not saying Luukkonen will. I'm just saying I think he has to be the engine behind that. He has to be your main guy. I just think he does. And if he isn't, then you're in pretty serious trouble. Because I think what a lot of people also want to do is, Christian came on this episode and he's just like, I don't want him in this goaltending picture anymore. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. So that means you're, in a world where, people have the ability to be an armchair GM and trade Luukkonen to like Edmonton or something for a pick, and your tandem's Alex Lyon and Colton Ellis. I feel like that optimism dries up pretty quickly. And do you remember what we were talking about in the preseason? I think it was our season preview episode. We were talking about the goaltending outlook because we didn't know when Luukkonen was coming back. And what did we say? If Lyon and, at the time, Alexander Georgiev were your goaltenders for a full season, were you making the playoffs?
No.
Does Colton Ellis sliding in the place of Georgiev really fix things that much? Don't get me wrong. Georgiev stinks. And he let up 4 goals last night in the Amherst game. Like, he's not a good goalie. He's not. And I would be willing to bet Colton Ellis is better. But does it really change things that much?
Probably not significantly, because at the end of the day, Lyon is your starter and Ellis is your backup theoretically in that situation.
So I am fully in support of getting Luukkonen going, and especially as soon as possible because he's got games to make up. He missed the last few weeks of training camp. He missed the first week or so of the season. He needs to get his reps in, and I think it's pretty important that he's the team's starting goaltender, for the majority of this season. And I get it. In reality, I probably have a lot more confidence in him at this point than I think a lot of people do. But, Saturday was a first good step into kind of finding his feet. And look, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I do think that it becomes really just your playoff chances really begin to dwindle, I think, if he's not a strong option in net, not just as a backup, but I think he has to be your starter.
I don't disagree completely. I do think, ideally, for the rest of the season, I don't think you could discount how good Lyon has played. Like, I think it's a 1A, 1B situation. Like, I don't see a situation where Lyon's already played 9 games where he probably... I can't see a situation where UPL finishes with that many more starts than Lyon at this point, if everything goes well. Like, I could see a 40 and 40
But it's Lindy.
split.
Like, he'll ride the hot hand.
Well, I agree, but it's going to go both ways. If Lyon gets hot again, he's going to play another, 7 out of 9 games. So I think it's going to be more even, but I do think, like, UPL had a very good game. You probably do want to get him going. I mean, there's only 6 other goaltenders in the NHL, assuming these numbers are updated, that have played more than 9 games. So, like, Lyon's already towards the top of the league in games played. You might see him get a little rest here with UPL getting some starts. Maybe finally getting Colton Ellis another start. So, I could definitely see ramping UPL up. I guess the start of this little conversation more or less was, I understand that UPL probably needs to get going for this team to be good, but there's no way in hell that he deserved a start more than Colton Ellis. I can't believe Ellis hasn't played another game after his really
No,
good start.
but at the same time, we've talked a lot about over the years now. Tough decisions have to be made. And I feel like this is one of them. Are you going to give the good story another start, or are you going to, risk it on someone that you probably are going to need to lean on a lot more? Because if let's say Colton Ellis has the same game that Luukkonen has, when's Luukkonen's next start? Because, there's 3 days of rest. Let's look at the schedule right here. There's 3 days of rest. Okay?
After this next week.
No, I'm saying, like, between, like, let's say Ellis played Saturday. He gave
okay.
you, Luukkonen was actually break even at, like, exactly. The Capitals had 3 expected goals against, 3 of them went in. So, like, let's say Ellis literally gives you that, a break even performance. Who are you going to on Tuesday? I feel like you're going back to Lyon, right?
I don't know. I think in that situation, you might actually go to UPL.
You would go, but would you go Lyon, Ellis, then UPL?
Maybe. You got 3 goaltenders. Got to play them. I don't know.
I think it also made a lot of sense to do Luukkonen that night because Washington was on the second half of a back-to-back. I feel like they probably thought they would have a little bit easier of a night than they actually probably did versus, a red-hot Utah team.
That's true.
But, like, let's say, because then you probably go Lyon Tuesday. I feel like Thursday St. Louis comes to town. I wonder who's going to get that start.
Yeah, if Ellis is going to start another game, it's going to be that game. So
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like you would have gone a really long time between Luukkonen starts, and, like, that's the opposite of what you need. And, look, I'll be the first to say they should have left him in Rochester a lot sooner. I think they should have done that. Yeah. They should have seen more of this tandem at first, but now that he's up, you've put yourself in a corner, but I feel like choosing him over Ellis, I think it was the right move. I'm not saying it was the deserved move, but I think, sometimes you got to, step over some people to, do the thing that you think is best for your team, and I think this Luukkonen one was the better one. It's a feel-good win. The team sure was on the second half of back-to-back, but it's a Washington team that is playing really well. It came down to Luukkonen, how much confidence. Think of just the amount of confidence he probably gained from that shootout alone, going 5 for 5.
The overtime, too.
He was
incredible.
He was, the Sabres had a terrible overtime. Washington was all over them. And, even just the small mental victory of, hey, you didn't let Alex Ovechkin score number 900 on you, and he had his chances. So I think it's a big win. It's a big win for Luukkonen. I think I understand why people hated it. I understand why 2 minutes into the game it looked like an awful decision. But I don't know. I would I would probably keep going on the Luukkonen train for now, because I hate 3 goalie rotations, but I especially despise like a tried and true 3 goalie rotation. I think the only time a 3 goalie rotation works, I think, is when you have a designated starting goaltender. Like, I think if it only works when you have a guy getting 40 to 50 games a year and you're rotating the backups. I think the 3 goalie rotation works best when the starting goalie doesn't realize it's a 3 goalie rotation, because people go, I don't know, they go between starts a ton. They have long periods of starting games, and I don't know. I feel like I've always hated that the lack of momentum that a goalie can build between starts, what that ends up resulting in. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe just me, but I just hate them. But I don't want to see
I don't think
starts
it's just you.
being handed off here.
I think everybody hates a 3 goalie rotation, and I think that's partly why I also want to see Ellis get in, is because everybody's saying it's only a 1 game sample size. Like, I agree 1,000%. I just feel like you have to make a decision. Like, you cannot go on with this 3 goalie rotation too much longer. Like, I think once some people come off the IR, like, you're not going to want to carry 3 goaltenders. Like, when Danforth comes back, with Josh Dunn has had a few good games, like, there's just not going to be room for 3 goaltenders. So you need to make a decision. It's probably going to be Ellis no matter what. Almost, like, there's a 99% chance Ellis is the one waived at the end of the day. But I feel like you should at least see what you have with him in more than a 1 game sample size. Probably give him at least 2 or 3 games. Like, if he plays Thursday and has a bad game, like, I could see them waiving them pretty soon after that. But if he has a good game, then, like, I don't know. Like, it changes things. You need to see what you have with them before you make this decision, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, it's very tough, and they totally did this to themselves. And I understand why. I understand why they got insurance on Luukkonen. I understand, like, Colton Ellis is literally too good of a goalie on waivers to pass up. I mean, I don't know what the waiver wire order was that day, that week. I mean, I think it's just based off the previous season, because it was before the regular season even kicked off. So you would assume the Sabres are pretty high in the waiver wire order. Would he have made it all the way through? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. I was wondering the other day, I was like, obviously they put themselves in a situation. They signed Georgiev for a reason. If he had a backup for 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, like Ellis did before UPL came back, it would not have been the end of the world, but they put themselves in the situation. But I'm worried of us waiving Ellis, and then the Blues pick him back up, and then he has, then he plays really good, and it's like, oh, why did the Sabres drop this guy? And now UPL's not playing good, and that line's not playing as good as he was before. I want to know what we have with him, because he's had really good numbers in the minors. And you can say the same about Levi. I would say the same about rotations.
I would say the same about, like, Eric Comrie, though. Like, I've been referring Ellis to, like, Walmart Eric Comrie. Like, he's a upscaled version of that. Like, Eric Comrie had these first month or two with the Sabres, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, became a part of the 3 goalie rotation, and kind of dropped off. And today, we see he's a backup goaltender. He's okay. You're right. Because I do want to see more of Ellis. I want to see more of what the flaws are. I want to see, what does hold him back, and, get a better gauge on the type of goalie he is before you make that decision. But, it's just tough. It's tough to get starts in. You really want to win games right now, and you want to. at the same time, ride the hot hand. You want your starter to be starting as many games as possible, and I don't know. It'll be interesting, but like I am of the opinion that Luukkonen being your 1A goaltender, I think, is pretty imperative to making the playoffs. At least for the majority of the season. They can play hot potato as the season goes on. Alex Lyon, at the end of the day, Alex Lyon once upon a time stole the job from Sergei Bobrovsky for 2 weeks. It's goaltenders, they're voodoo, weird things happen. I think that's also I just think this is what the Sabres are also thinking. And I also think, hey, the goalie making, what does he make? Was it 4.75?
Isn't it?
4.75 or is it 5 point? Or is it? And I'm blanking.
4.75. You're right.
4.75. Yeah. I don't think it's a mistake that the guy they gave the big deal, they want to, give him the shot. But
that's for
like,
sure.
do you think? Like, I know the numbers were going around the other day with Levi. Do you think the pendulum has swung the other way at all? With like,
what do you mean?
Who the organization backs? I don't know. It is just weird to hear. I know it's Jeff Merrick, and I know it was after the whistle. Those were the only two people saying it. But like, I don't know if he made a formal trade request, but do you think him just? I mean, Levi's the fourth goalie in the organization right now at this point, and there's really not a path for him to get games this year or next. I don't know. I just do wonder what the long-term viability is there. That, like, I mean, I get why he hasn't been reliable in the NHL. He had a decent rookie season, but last year he was pretty bad, and he was pretty bad in a backup role, which is what they would need this season. And I understand that that's not enough insurance to be an option should Luukkonen have been out for a very prolonged period. Obviously he wasn't, but now it's like you just wonder, like, is he upset? Does the organization, is it kind of both sides are unhappy now? I don't know. If Levi's camp did ask for any sort of trade request, I would be like grow the hell up. This organization has handed you the starter position at multiple points, and you yourself could not rise to the occasion. So I understand that the organization has put you down the list and has said at many points throughout these 5 or 6 years that Adams has been GM that they will not roadblock people. This Levi is pretty roadblocked, but grow up. That would be my message. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Levi because I'm pretty sure he's 5-0 and has like a .933 save percentage. He's playing very well. If he keeps playing very well, and if he's truly disgruntled, it's only going to get worse with how well he's playing. So it is a unique situation. Because even like once again with this 3 goalie rotation, like obviously Levi's the fourth guy. Eventually they're probably getting rid of Ellis, so then he moves up to that third guy. So if an injury happens, he's probably up here. But if an injury doesn't happen, then he's stuck down there the whole year. So we'll see what happens. It's a weird situation. Like I think they made the right decision, obviously bringing Lyon in and not relying on a UPL Levi tandem. But there's a point where I think Levi might be overcooked down there. I know you might disagree with that, but I think Levi is definitely earned his spot with some sort of NHL roster, especially with how he played last year.
No, I don't disagree. Like my issue with the Levi camp in that situation would just be like shut up. Like I'm not saying you're wrong, but like shut up. Like don't ask for a friggin' trade. You are a 22 at this point, 21. Like you have signed.
23.
First of all, you just signed a contract with a multi-year deal with the organization.
He'll be 24 in December.
Oh wow, he's 24.
Yep.
Like you're 24 years old. You just signed a multi-year deal with the organization. You have no power in asking for a trade. But I like their concerns are somewhat valid because it's like with me, I don't think he has anything left to gain in the AHL. You know, he has the mileage, he has the playoff experience. He's basically done everything you can ask for. And I think in terms of his game, you know, we know what his weaknesses are at the NHL level, where he gets caught out of position a lot, challenging guys, and oftentimes he just gets beat by NHL level talent. It's a much different shooting gallery in the NHL, and you know I don't think that there's really much to gain in the AHL. And you can't even say really it's like the workload he needs to work on, because if he comes up now or even next year, like he's not the starting goaltender. You know, when they first tried to hand him the position, I mean he was for Northeastern, he was playing 2 games a week, sometimes just 1. You know, it is a much different schedule, but even that, he's kind of got nailed down in the AHL. You know, last year was kind of the opposite. He kind of had to relearn that, where he was going long periods of time without starting games.
Yeah.
So
he has nothing left to prove. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now. 9 in his first full year down there, or at least I think this is when he started the year with the Sabres, 23-24, then got sent down. 927, then in the playoffs in 5 games he had a 923. Last year he had a 919 and then a 910 in the playoffs, and this year so far he has a 933. Like, he has nothing less to prove, nothing more to prove down there. He's dominated the AHL level. So I would not blame him for being upset at the point that he's still down there, but it's just where the Sabres are at. And if you want to continue with that, with the Sabres, when he was called up for his first 7 games, 905, but then 899 and an 872 last year. So the questions are valid at the NHL level. It's just he's dominated at the AHL level.
Yeah, and he just has right now no way of kind of disproving those. I mean, hell, even in the preseason, he got 2 periods of play?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, that's more of a long-term thing, you know. Like,
more of a next year conversation.
Does he even get into a game this season? Like, that's the big question.
Like I said, I think it's once they eventually move on from Ellis, and then if someone gets hurt, like, that's really the only way.
Hurt in a car? Call our sponsor, William Matar. 844-444-4444. With a focus on motor vehicle accidents, the team at William Matar has handled thousands of cases like yours. Let them help you get the money you deserve after a motor vehicle accident. Rideshare, truck, motorcycle, car, only call William Matar. 844-444-4444. All right, I think I've had enough goalie talk for one episode. What have you thought about Michael Kesselring these first few games? 3 games, right? He made his debut against Columbus, I believe it was. So
yeah,
first game this week, this past Tuesday. What have you thought these first 3 games?
I feel like it's been pretty much as advertised. Like, I've seen him get some offensive. His offensive abilities have shown. Like, he's jumping up and play. He's had a few good shots. He's also obviously a larger body, so I've seen him be a little physical. So I think it's pretty much been as advertised. I don't think he's flashed at all, but I don't think he's looked out of place at all. I mean, last game him and Byram got caved, but the 2 games before that they were fine. So I think he's been pretty much as advertised, with the caveat being he's not playing with someone who we thought he would be playing with.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with kind of what I've seen, in the sense of, like, he missed basically most of training camp. He was there for the start, played in the first 2 preseason games, looked good in one, didn't look so great in the other, then got hurt, was gone for, I think, basically a calendar month, and is kind of in that same camp with Luukkonen, where he's trying to catch up or make up for lost time. And yeah, I agree. I think the flashiness definitely isn't there yet, but I'm pleased with you can tell what the strengths are. Like you said, it's he's getting involved in the rush a lot, or at least trying to rush the puck up the ice, kind of take it upon himself to try and jump up in the play. Yeah, it's been good. There's definitely room for improvement. Definitely room to rev up the game. Funny enough, the defensive numbers are pretty good in a limited sample size. I mean, like you said, he's only gotten third pair minutes. He's only played with Bowen Byram. It's I feel like what we're seeing now isn't what the finished product is going to be in 2 to 3 months' time. Especially once he's playing up in the lineup. They need to get him away from Bowen Byram. They were pretty bad last night. The numbers say the story, and I think when Byram was on the ice, he was outshot 14-1. I think I saw that stat floating around. So can't imagine Kesselring was much better, and I don't know. I don't think those are two players that complement each other well. I do. There was the one shift. He was out there with Power on one shift, and you kind of saw the vision of what they're trying to build between those two. So that should be fun. I don't know. I think given that their best player is not their best player right now on defense, I do think the D pairs are due for a shuffle. And it is going to be interesting to see who they kind of slot him in with next, because I do think there's a lot of ways to go about this right now. I mean, Rasmus Dahlin, I feel like every game he's playing weaker hockey. I know he had Boston. It felt like he was on both sides of the aisle. He had bad turnovers, primarily in overtime. But the numbers loved him, and they loved everybody that night. They dominated the Bruins for 3.5 periods. But he had a goal, had a big assist on the tying goal. Like, it was very chaotic, but Washington, like, once again, just very, very turnover heavy. Just wasn't Rasmus Dahlin, and I think you kind of need to switch things up. And I know Matthias Samuelsson is playing great hockey, but it's not enough to get Dahlin going. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of spark the defense. Because, I also don't think we haven't really touched on Owen Power as well, and it was kind of a big week in Owen Power discourse as well. Like, he's not himself either. I thought he was actually great against the Capitals, but he hasn't been himself.
Yeah. And, I mean, I believe Kesselring only really played with Power in training camp and for the preseason too, so it's really the only player he has chemistry with. But yeah, I mean, obviously Dahlin and Power really haven't been the best, so it's weird because I think as pairs, like, Dahlin and Samuelsson have been solid, obviously because Samuelsson's been playing so good, and then you could say the same about Power and Timmins. Like, I think that pair's been pretty solid, but Timmins has been very good and Power's just been all right. And I think it logically makes sense. Like, Dahlin and Power, you want them to be your offensive play drivers back there, and they're playing with two guys who aren't as offensively talented. I mean, obviously Matthias Samuelsson, great shot, a big 2-goal game, but at the end of the day, he's more of a lockdown defenseman. So, and same thing with Power. Like, Timmins is more of a defensive. He's solid at both. He just doesn't really stand out. Where you put Kesselring up with one of them, you put Byram up with one of them, it's going to help with their offensive abilities and help that shine through and hopefully get them going. So although I think these pairs have worked, I think it doesn't complement those two players the best.
I saw some people floating out the pair that I've just never wanted to touch with a 10-foot pole for the longest time. What would you say about a Dahlin Power pair right now?
I mean, I don't think it's the worst idea. I mean, I guess because all the other defensemen are playing. I mean, obviously Samuelsson's playing very good. Timmins is playing good. Byram's for the most part been very good. So I don't think, like, if in years past, if you did that, your other two D pairs are getting shelled. Like, you just could not do it in past years. I do think you could get away with it right now, but I don't think it's ideal. But I think if it's going to get both of them going, it might be worth a shot.
Because I think in that situation, your second pair would hopefully be Samuelsson and Kesselring. I would hope they wouldn't just slot in Byram and Kesselring and be like, well, that's our second pair now. Like, that would be the worst version of that. I think the only way this works is if you trust a Samuelsson-Kesselring pair to also play 18 to 20 minutes a night. I don't know. I'm open to it. If he did, like, whenever Granato would go to it, it was just like Don, what are you doing here? It's like you said, because then your second pair back then would immediately become Matthias Samuelsson and Henri Jokiharju, and your third pair was, it could range anywhere from Jacob Bryson and Casey Fitzgerald to Eric Johnson and Connor. Man, I still have nightmares about that Johnson Clifton pair.
Matt Irwin, you could throw in there. Like, they're, yeah. That's why you couldn't do it. You could get away with it now, I think, if you wanted to. I don't think it's the best.
You're in a weird spot because your two best defensemen are not your two best defensemen right now. Like I don't think Power is kind of in that unsalvageable range, or like in that, like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, some people think he's in. But like Dahlin's fully in, just he's playing a different game right now. And usually when you say Rasmus Dahlin's playing a different game, it's a compliment. Right now it is a negative.
Yeah, I've been very upset with this play, and there have been probably the last 2 weeks I've thought about going on a Dahlin rant, but I think at the end of the day, like, I'm holding back any criticism just because of his offseason and everything that's going on with him in his personal life. Like, I think that's definitely affecting him. Like, I think I saw someone tweet, like, his wife's not even with him right now, that she might be back in Sweden. So I don't know. I just, he's not playing good, and there's no excuses for it, but it's hard to be critical when you know he's your best player and there's other stuff going on in his life that take a precedent.
Yeah, definitely in agreement there. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned anything about his volume shooting right now.
Well, I've mentioned that. I think last episode I said I don't understand his infatuation with these one-timers from the point. I don't think they were as bad this week. And by the way, he did score on a one-time slap shot from the point.
You know what I was thinking?
Night,
you know what that reminded me of? And people have been listening because we've been going long enough now where we've picked up probably a lot of new viewers. This could be people's first episode listening to us, and if it is, hey, welcome to the show. Anybody that listened to us our first 2 years, basically the last 2 years of Granato, knows that I think Jeff Skinner is the worst power play player I have ever seen in my entire life. And primarily because he played the bumper, or at least that's where he was slotted to play. That's where Don Granato and power play coach Matt Ellis would like him to set up when they were setting up. He never played the bumper. He was anywhere but the bumper. He would be at the hash mark, close to the wall. He would be behind the net. He would be in front of the net with Alex Tuch. He'd be hanging out with Rasmus Dahlin at the blue line. And his favorite spot of all, he would be in the friggin' rock star zone calling for a one-timer, his stick waving in the air. And I would just pull my hair out. And the worst part would be, every so often, well, actually, a lot of the time, he would get that pass in the corner, and he would try a short-angle shot. And look, Jeff Skinner is one of the best short-angle shot players I've ever seen wear a Sabres jersey. He scored those goals a ton. On the power play, those aren't the friggin' shots you wanted to go for. But he would take them over and over again. And you want to know something? Because Jeff Skinner was such a good hockey player, actually still is, he's doing good for the Sharks. Rooting for him. Love Jeff Skinner. Don't want this to become, oh, you hate Jeff Skinner. No, friggin' love that guy. On the power play, every so often, he would score one of those goals. And it would make him think that, hey, I can keep doing that. And none of the coaches would step. I mean, the Sabres didn't have a power play coach. They had a power play coach. They didn't have one. Nobody would step in and say anything to him to stop friggin' doing that. And every so often, it would reset the cycle where he would try short angle shots. It wouldn't work. And then, he's facing some backup scrub that left the corner open that night. And he would be it would reinforce in his mind that he was good to keep doing that. And I think the Dahlin goal kind of reminded me of that as well, because he's just been taking one-timer after one-timer after one-timer far out from the point when, the power play is sort of on fraud watch, I think, where I think they're in this, their teams are starting to adjust. The honeymoon period is definitely over, where, you have all these new skill sets put in there. You've got Benson on there. You've got Josh Doan, kind of adding a whole new dimension to their power play. And I think you're seeing a lot of adjustments from teams. But, Dahlin is the one that's still, married to the old power play strategy, because he was a big focal point of that. He could shoot whenever the hell he wanted. And that goal reminded me of the Skinner days, where it's okay, big goal, the Sabres needed that. I'm glad he scored. I'm glad he got on the score sheet. But I don't think it's going to stop him from being a volume shooter from far out on the power play. At 5v5, whatever, do your thing. Take what you can get. But when you're on the power play, man, Seth Appert should be telling him right now, you are the fifth option here. You are the fifth shooter on this power play. Right now, you're acting like the second, and you shouldn't be.
Our power play is at 16th now. I think it was top 5 a week or two ago.
I think they were 10th going into this past week.
Yeah, it's 16th now. I do feel like this one-timer from the point thing is kind of a team problem. I'm seeing Tage is doing it. A bunch of guys are doing it, but Dahlin definitely sticks out the most. And it's definitely a big issue on the power play. I mean, you think about that 5-on-3 we had. It was Dahlin doing some one-time slap shots. It just doesn't always work out. I feel like it's a team problem, because I feel like a lot of our shots so far, I think we're just throwing the puck at the net a lot. I
don't think it's a bad. Last year was bad. It felt like a lot of their offense was coming from that, and kind of the same thing the year before with the Granato offense, that they kind of wanted to score in different ways, but their only different way they introduced was looking for tips and shooting from far out. And I don't think they're definitely still doing it, but I feel like they are in a healthy mix right now.
Sometimes I agree, because I feel like at least we have guys that are getting to the net. We are creating some havoc in front of the net, which is definitely helping. But I don't know. It's just a lot of point shots, and sometimes I'm what are we doing? These aren't doing anything, and it just makes me think of, the Corsi Kings or Carolina Hurricanes sometimes. I'm we're just going to throw shots at the net and hope something goes in. It works, but it's always not the most exciting. That's honestly how I felt against the Bruins. I know the numbers, they dominated the game. They definitely did. I just wasn't as impressed, because I felt like half their shots were from the point, and I didn't think they dominated as much as the numbers showed, because it was just a lot of point shots, and then they would get some rebounds, which is good, but I don't know. It's it's
you have
interesting. I think it starts with Dahlin, but I feel like it's a team-wide thing where they're just being told to just get the puck to the net.
Yeah. No, you're probably spot on there, and because it's Dahlin, it's the captain. It's the guy everybody looks at to model their game after, and if he's doing it, there's going to be a lot of other people doing it. And, you also have, Michael Kesselring, for example, when he gets going, he will fit that mold because he is a volume shooter. He loves to rip it from the point. So, Yeah, I don't think it's really a problem yet. Just because it's not a bad thing to take point shots. Like it's not a terrible thing. It should just be another way to generate offense. And this team has been generating offense in a lot of different ways, which I think is very encouraging. Like we said, this is their first legitimate offense since 22-23. They've scored a lot of goals, but it was very fraudulent. They were riding very high shooting percentages. You had a lot of plus finishers in the lineup, like Peterka, even like Dylan Cousins. I mean, I guess Dylan Cousins wasn't a huge plus he wasn't a huge shooting above expected guy, but you had those two. Once upon a time, you had Casey Middlestat, you had Victor Olofsson. Like these were all guys that don't generate a ton, but when they get their looks, they would put it in the back of the net. Whereas
Skinner.
And Jeff Skinner, like perfect example of it. So you don't have those guys. It's a much different roster, and I think as of this point, like I said, the JFresh numbers came out today. They're shooting 5 goals under expected. So, it's a different team. And, if this was last year, if it was the year before or the year before that, and they were shooting 5 goals under, I would say, hey, like they're about to go on a run. Right now, I just think, like I said, that might be where they live all year. They might be a shooting under expected team. Might be. You're still waiting for the Tage breakouts.
I was just gonna say that
Jack Quinn, who I think is playing pretty well, hasn't scored a ton. Josh Stone could be scoring a lot more goals, and Zach Benson, who obviously we haven't touched on, is hurt right now and has gone on IR. Didn't score a goal when he was in the lineup, so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, once they start shooting above expected, it's going to be once Tage Thompson gets going. And even Dahlin. I mean,
and I was going to say, Dahlin too.
Both of them, we can agree, have
and Owen Power. Owen Power, I mean, because, like I said, this has been a big week for Power discourse. I guess I can check to see if it changed, but I know once everybody got on his case again after the Boston game, I think it was. Or no, I think it was the Columbus game. I mean, he had like a 3% on-ice shooting percentage. I know he was on the ice at least he was on the ice for the Alex Tuch goal last night, so it definitely would have gone up a little bit. Right now, he is sitting at a 6.07 shooting percentage, on-ice shooting percentage. And in years past, it has never been lower than 10. His rookie season, his on-ice shooting percentage was 10.3, or I guess that was his first little stint. His first full rookie season, 22-23, he was 10.5, 10.7, and last year he was at 10. Right now he's at 6. I mean, even he is due for positive regression, and he has been a guy that has driven offense where the numbers aren't insane, like the expected goals numbers aren't insane, but like his goals for are among, not just the best on the team, among some of the best in the league.
Yeah. And I think we can both agree that Tage and Dahlin have not been good, or they've at least not been good enough. Tage still has 5 goals and 10 points, and Dahlin still has 9 points, both in 12 games. So if they get going, like it's just going to start jumping, and their offense is only going to be even better. Like your offense is, like you said, top 10 in the league right now, and their top 2 players are not playing anywhere close to where they should be playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a, we talked about it last week, and I just think we're going to keep talking about it because, some things on this team are not going to keep going the way they are. I think you saw the goaltending kind of dip with Alex Lyon. He had his first shaky game and then his first bad game. You've seen the power play kind of take a step back, but even then, like the JFresh numbers that came out today in terms of combined special teams contributions, I believe the Sabres ranked second in terms of what their penalty kill. Yeah, their special teams goals for percentage. So putting in your power play goals for plus your penalty kills goals for percentage. They're second in the league at 71%.
And that's carried heavily by their PK. They're
Which
first in the league, and they're getting really good. They're getting a lot of saves, but I do think the penalty kill is legit. I think it's looked very good.
I think it's just I've said this before.
I know we've gotten saves.
It's no pun intended, but they live and die by the sword. Or it's a double-sided sword because I think they're. I'll pull up the numbers right now on the penalty kill. While shorthanded, they are. Let's see. Expected goals per 60, they are 20th. Okay, so they've actually jumped a little bit in that because they were among the worst. I think closer to 32nd. So that's good. The shots against, the shot quality against has gone down, which is good. Expected goals for, they are 9th.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I just feel like it. One of the few times I'll say the eye test is telling me I think the PK looks very good. And I think Tuch and McLeod are two huge reasons of that. And Timmins and Samuelson, too.
Yeah.
But that's going to get some regression, so I agree.
Yeah. You never know. They could just ride a 90% penalty kill percentage all year. Wouldn't that just be the funniest thing?
It'd be pretty sweet, especially when they're taking all these dumbass penalties. I mean, last game, it was so frustrating. Like, last game, I feel like it was a pretty even game at 5-on-5, but both teams kind of took dumb penalties. I mean, Tom Wilson barely played the first half of the game, but I mean, we had, I think, 3 penalties in the third period, and it's like we kind of deserved to lose the game at that point. I mean, we're lucky they didn't convert on any of their power play opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, what was the final total in terms of opportunities?
I think it was 0 for 4, or we were 4 for 4.
Let me see. Power play. Yeah, they had 4 opportunities. We had 3. Yeah. 25 penalty minutes to 17. Yeah. It's going to be, like I said, it's encouraging that those numbers have dipped a little bit. Like, I was really worried at the start of the season. Like, they were 100% an Alex Lyon-led penalty kill, which is just never a good combination. Yeah. I mean, hey, they've done what I've wanted, because you can look at the Carolina Hurricanes, who I think are among also the best penalty killers right now. The power kill can work. It can work beautiful. It can really be a difference maker. And that's definitely what they've committed to, at least with their first pair. You know, when Beck Malenstein and Peyton Krebs are out there, like, they're not playing aggressive, but Alex Tuch and Ryan McLeod are some of the best penalty killers in the league, some of the quickest.
Yeah, they're literally getting double shifted on penalty kills right now.
Yeah,
which is crazy. They'll play like 40 minutes to 40 seconds. They'll come off and then they'll play the last 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they acquired McLeod. I think he had like the second best goals above replacement on the PK.
Yeah.
For Edmonton that season.
Yep.
Wonder what his number. I do wonder what his numbers look like, at least since he's gotten to the Sabres.
And even now, I mean, Kesselring's been playing a bunch of PK. Greenway's back, who's usually a pretty good killer. So, but they did lose Benson, who was one of their other guys. But
I feel like he didn't get that many shifts though. Like, he was one of the guys they throw out there, but
actually, I think this past game, with Greenway had one of the penalties, I think Quinn was actually out there. So Quinn I have seen a little bit
there.
Yeah,
Quinn I've definitely seen out there. I'm trying to see where Sorry, I'm struggling to find where I can find the penalty kill numbers. Shorthanded, he is okay. Yeah, so the year he came in, because I think he was first or among the top in the league in goals above replacement, shorthanded. He was 2.6 that season. Right now last season he was at 2.7. Right now he's at minus 0.07. That is interesting.
That seems weird.
I believe, if I'm reading that correctly. I don't know.
Maybe it's like you said that they're just getting a lot of saves, or at least they were getting a lot of saves.
Yeah, there's not crediting him with as much.
Well, who cares about analytics? We're at 90%. If it fits the narrative,
That's the only analytic that matters, right?
That's right. You only follow the analytics that fit your narrative.
That's right. Speaking of, do we want to get into the Owen Power stuff at all?
It's up to you. I don't.
It's starting to get on my nerves a little bit.
I mean,
a little bit.
It's always been on our nerves. We've always
but it's like now. But now people are like really. I feel like we're reaching a tipping point just because it's been the same complaints for so long, and like when the team's struggling, it makes it infinitely worse. And it just, I don't know, it just grinds my gears. It's the same type of people that have the same complaints 4 years later, and I don't know. I don't want to call anybody who hates Owen Power dumb, because it's not the case. I understand why people don't like him. I understand it. But I don't know. Like, this team could not play hockey with him off the ice last year. Like, it's so funny. Like, last night, Bowen Byram has probably one of his, has like a defining moment. Probably as a Sabre, honestly. First shootout attempt, scores a goal. And Owen Power picks up an assist, but who I think has played one of his best games of the year. Maybe his best. You don't really hear about, everybody's talking about Bowen Byram. And Byram, like I said, was outshot like 14-1 on the ice. And like if you trade Owen Power, that's what you're signing yourself up for. On your second pair.
Yeah. The part where I can't really blame people for criticizing them, his defensive play really hasn't gotten better.
It's not good. He's not a good defensive defenseman.
Yeah,
just people will go from that to he's soft.
Yeah.
Whereas if he cross-checks Miles Wood in the back, okay, maybe it saves a goal, but he sends him to the power play.
Yeah, I think if the only reason you don't like him is because you're saying, well, he's a 6'6" defenseman, and I'd like my 6'6" defenseman to hit a little more. I just think that's an invalid argument. Like we've been saying this for years, and I understand you have a big defenseman, you probably want him to be physical. It's just not his game. Like, you need to accept it. You need to get over it. It's not his game. It probably never will be. Like, Donnelly developed that aspect of his game.
He was always a little like that. He was always a little like that.
Yeah, like Power's been in the league for 4 or 5 years now. It's just not a part of his game. He's not going to go out and hit someone. I do think he's been better, like in battles, like behind the net. I think he gets a little more physical, but I just think if that's your only argument and why you don't like him, it's just you're going to criticize every other thing that he does just because he doesn't hit someone. I just think it's an invalid argument, but his defensive play has not gotten better. I mean, those 2 overtime goals, it wasn't like, well, I guess the first he fumbled the puck. So that one, not really defensive.
Yeah,
the second one, he did miss that guy, but other things went wrong in that play.
But
it wasn't just his
Alex
fault.
Tuch's out for a skate. I'm surprised Zach Werenski even passed that puck.
Yeah.
Tuch
was out for a skate, and Lindy at the end of the day blamed it on Kulik.
Exactly. So the own head coach.
It wasn't even just Power. All 3 of them messed up, but I understand that was Power's guy who got behind him.
It's ridiculous. He needs to get. It was a bad read. He was slow to get to the front of the net. It's a play that can't happen. But you would think, I get it now. When in our group chat we make a lot of fun of other defensemen around the league that take a just get major whiplash from the fan base. They just take a beating from the medium. Like Evan Bouchard. Example number 1. And we make fun of him too because he has bad moments, really bad ones. I mean, the other night against the Rangers, brutal giveaway to like Jake Brzezinski, who was playing on the Rangers' third or fourth line. He goes on a breakaway and scores. On the overtime winner, he kind of softly plays a JT Miller breakaway. And like we make fun of that. But I have never said that like they should trade him and that like I think he's an elite defenseman. I think he's a number one defenseman. And like the media there, it just like it reminds me so much like this is what it's like to be a fan of one of those defensemen where just every play is under a microscope. Every time he's on the ice, every time he didn't tie up a stick perfectly, anytime he does something like that, it just becomes a immediate storyline of like, this guy's a bust. They need to trade him. They overpaid him, this, and that. And it's just so tiring. And I'm sorry, like we do this so often where like we come to Power's defense that you would think that like he's one of the favorite players on the team. And it's like, he's really not. Like I like watching him play. I enjoy watching him play. But he's like not in the top 5 of like, I don't know, like jerseys I'd buy. I just understand what he succeeds at, and that's driving offense, because whenever he's on the ice, outside of this year to start, like the pucks go in the net. They go in the net. The Sabres won one game last year when he was out of the lineup, and it was against the Philadelphia Flyers. You know, he's an integral part to this team, and it's just very tiring to hear it over and over again. And I'm not like, he's not playing his best hockey. I think he's playing fine hockey. It's just to hear, like, you would think this dude is costing them games. And I know he's had gaffes where, like, okay, he's cost them a few overtimes, but I don't know, like, you would think you're watching, like, Rasmus Ristolainen received less than this, like, less criticism. But I understand why, because he was engaged. You could tell just by watching his physicality, you could be like, oh, he's engaged. Whereas like Owen Power, he's engaged. You can tell when he's engaged when he's doing different stuff than cross-checking or shit-talking his opponent. It's when he's involved in the rush, when he's involved in the cycle, keeping plays alive, starting plays. And it's just, it's, like I said, like I don't want to call people dumb, but I think it takes a little bit more isolation of like, or isoing him. You have to really watch him to understand like when he's engaged and when he's playing well. And I think like go watch the tape against Washington. Like that was one of his best games.
I think it's a lot of confirmation bias, and I think his plays really get put under a microscope. And I think some of his mistakes definitely do stand out because they lead to goals. Because that's what happens. Someone makes a mistake, sometimes they lead to goals. And I just feel like everybody points out his mistakes more than anybody else's on the team. Anybody else's. Like, you could probably say Dowling's probably made more mistakes this year. But he's your top guy. So you're not going to criticize him as much. Where Owen Power, he's an easy player to pick on for a lot of people. And you don't have to like him. I just think criticizing him at every single mistake and not recognizing that he does good things is just, it's tough to listen to and see the discourse every single year. It's like you said, it's very, very tiring.
Yeah, and it's just, a lot of it's also perspective. Like I had a conversation with our own father, and we were talking about him. And at one point he goes, genuinely asking, wasn't Power like some hyped up prospect like Dahlin was? And I was just like, no, like not at all. And I think that's a lot of what it is
being
with him.
A first overall pick plays into it so much.
100%.
If he was a second overall pick, people wouldn't be as critical. It's just because he's a top guy.
And like not all first overall picks are the same. Yeah, very weak. I mean, who goes second overall in that draft? Because I feel like first overall, everybody agrees right now it's Wyatt Johnston. But even him, like, I don't think the gap is so far between him and the next guy. I think who the next guy is up for debate. I think in terms of goals, somebody posted the numbers the other day. I think in terms of goals above replacement or just straight, like, that's WAR. Like, goals above replacement is literally just wins above replacement in terms of goals. He's second in that draft class. I think only behind Johnston. He might be first, actually. I think it's second, though.
And the player that people would have drafted over him who was in debate, it was Beniers. And, like...
Who sucks. He sucks.
He really hasn't turned out.
He's not good.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fine player, but he's not, like, you look at Seattle, you look at his numbers. Like, if he was a first overall pick, people would be... look at the criticism Lafreniere's been getting in the past few weeks. It's all tied to being a first overall pick, and to a degree, I get it. Like in Lafreniere's case, he was seen as the next McDavid at one point in time. He had the exceptional status. Power. It's just like that first overall tag, and like if you were involved in the lead up to that draft, I mean that thing was wide open until the last few months. Power kind of secured it in the World Championships in May when he was playing top minutes with a lot of veteran players. Like, it was not a slam dunk, and he was definitely not Rasmus Dahlin. Nobody was calling him the Connor McDavid of defensemen. And, he never, like, this was always the blueprint for him. And my thing, too, is if, like, Owen Power, like, what he's great at is offense, but it's not the Rasmus Dahlin type of offense. He's not making guys look dumb on a nightly basis. He's not deking anybody out of their jock straps. He's usually not making huge eye-popping passes. And I feel like that hurts too. Like Luke Hughes, not just because he's part of the Hughes crime family and gets a lot of PR help, but he plays a very flashy style, and his highlights are highlight reel worthy. And Power doesn't do that. And I feel like that it's tougher to see what Power does well. It's kind of the boring stuff. It's stuff that doesn't make you jump out of your seat. And I feel like if he was Luke Hughes, like if you put a different name on Luke Hughes, because they both kind of are the same archetype. Luke Hughes sucks at defense. Like he is not very reliable. And I feel like he would get a better pass just because you would see the eye-popping stuff there. You would see the stuff that gives glimpses of a potential number one defenseman in Power. He just doesn't do that, And I'm not saying he has to. I think what he does is perfectly good because it has resulted in actual goals.
Yeah, I'll throw Lane Hudson in that too. I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a good defensive defenseman whatsoever. It's different with him because he's a smaller guy. Yeah. So I feel like the problems with Power is like, oh, you should be doing this. Where it's like if Lane Hudson gets out-muscled, it's, well, he's a pretty small, undersized guy. He can't really do this. But I know what you mean.
That's fair. I hate the draft pick conversation in the NHL. Like, the only league where I feel like you could really criticize teams or criticize players for being like, oh, you're a first-round pick, like you're supposed to be very valuable right away, like is the NFL, because it's just such a different league. But it's like the NHL, we drafted Owen Power. He didn't even start like with the Sabres. Like most of these players who get drafted,
who was the last player to do that? I mean, let's try to, like, who was the last player to not play in the NHL right away that went first overall? I mean, we're seeing it now. Matthew Schaefer's playing. Celebrini played. Bedard played. 2022 was Slafkovsky. He played. Then it was Power. And then before him, let's go. Lafreniere played right away. Hughes played right away. Dahlin played right away. Hischier played right away. Matthews played right away. McDavid played right away. Ekblad played right away. McKinnon played right away. 2012 was Yakupov. He played right away. 2011 was Hall. He played right away. Or no, 2011 was... No, 2010 was Hall. 11 was Nugent Hopkins. He played right away. 2009 was that Tavares? I think Tavares was 2009. He played right away. Stamkos was 2008, I believe. He played right away. Patrick Kane, he played right away in 2007. And then I think Eric Johnson played right away. He was the first pick in 2006. And then you got Crosby and Ovechkin. Like, Power is the first guy to not play right away in. I mean, I can't think of a guy that did that. You know, he's a different type of first overall pick. You know, he could have played in the NHL right away. He definitely could have. He could have made that Sabres team. All right, their second best defenseman was probably Jacob Bryson.
Yeah,
but he was a different type of prospect, and I just, especially if as the Sabres are hopefully involved in this playoff race, which I think they will be, and as they're winning games, and as I think they're a pretty good team, you're going to be bringing in people that have kept a very soft eye on them and have maybe been a bit out of the loop because, who the hell would want to keep up with this team? Like, why do we do this to ourselves, Like, why do we do this? But we do, and I think with us, it's we understand what Power was from day one.
Yeah, that what you just brought up, I wasn't even thinking of it in that way, that he's probably the first overall pick in 2 decades to not start in the NHL. I just feel like I'm more at the point where, like, we're 5 years from him being drafted. Forget about where he was drafted. Just focus on the player he is now. Like, that conversation in the NHL just really frustrates me. Like, oh, Peyton Krebs was a first-round pick, so he should be a lot better. He's still a good player in the NHL. So, like, the conversation just frustrates me. Like, oh, this player was a first-round pick, so they should be really good. It's like, there's such a wide variability of players in the NHL and where they're drafted and how good they become. And there's undrafted players that are Hall of Famers. Like, the conversation of, oh, he was a first overall pick 10 years ago, so he should be really good right now. It's just, I don't know. It always frustrates me. It's like, oh, he's a first round pick, so he should be good. I agree, he should be good, but it's like, just accept who he is now. Like, stop putting these expectations on players.
It's like when Eric Johnson signed, and they were like, oh, we have 3 first overall picks on the back end. Well, it's like, okay, well, one of them's Eric Johnson.
Yeah, I think it goes for almost any sports. It's like, just accept the player you have now. Like, I think people put too high of expectations on players right now. But, I don't know. It's just, you take away that first overall pick on Owen Power's name, and everybody starts to like him a lot more.
And it's fine now because it's kind of crowd noise, and it's low-stakes criticism. But you do wonder, like, when... Hopefully this team makes the playoffs this year, and hopefully they're a contending team for years to come. But, like, this is the type of stuff that will persist. I don't think Owen Power's ever going to shake this unless he becomes, like, a true 50, 60-point number 1 defenseman, which, if he's got Rasmus Dahlin in front of him, I don't think he's going to do. If this team is, hopefully, like I said, in the playoffs, in the mix, a contending team, and the lights become brighter, and there's more media attention, and the criticisms are louder, like, this is the type of stuff that could drive a player out of town. Because we have been blessed. I think there are organizations out there that would be open to trading Power already. I mean, dude, he's been through 4 years of, it's not losing hockey because they've had 2 winning seasons, but 4 years of non-playoff hockey. And that's the type of stuff that I think some teams would maybe be willing to listen already and trade him. And luckily, you've had a Sabres organization that has believed in him basically since day one. Like I said, a lot of teams, I think any team will take a flyer on a 6'6" puck-moving defenseman. But I think if you put him on a team and after 4 years, he's the player he is now, I think some teams would be willing to move on. And like I said, you've had this team that has believed in him, and I'm sure the analytics staff has pumped his tires. And I'm sure Kevin Adams has loyalty to him, given he was his draft pick, his I think that draft is kind of when the Kevin Adams era really started, and I think there's loyalty there. But you bring in, does Jarmo Kekalainen have as much loyalty? I mean, he definitely doesn't. And what does he think of his game? Does he, those are things that could become something in the future, and the noise could get loud. The media could start writing, because I think the Buffalo media has been kind to Owen Power in that regard as well. Where, they don't really talk about that stuff in the way that fans do, but
I would say it's a mix. I'm not going to give all of them a pass.
They're not calling him like a soft piece of shit, or there's adjectives to describe Power that I don't think, it's not as bad as it could be. Who's the Edmonton writer? Oh, I forgot his name. No. He legitimately he was referring to Evan Bouchard the other night as elephant, as in the elephant in the room, because he was -3, had all those brutal turnovers. And it's like, damn, dude, that's the top beat writer is saying that about him.
Yeah, it's definitely not that bad, but I think everybody has been critical of Power at some point or another.
No, yeah, it definitely has.
Do you want to hear a take I've been sitting on for a while, and it's only been exacerbated by how the year started?
Let's hear it.
I honestly think Owen Power would be better on the top power play unit than Rasmus Dahlin.
He wouldn't be as trigger happy. That's for sure.
I think he's a better puck distributor. I think he's been better on breaking into the zone and getting set up than Dahlin has. Obviously, Dahlin has the flash ability. He has a better shot. He's your star player. I understand why he's on the top unit, but I honestly don't think Dahlin is the best power play player, at least at the top of the umbrella, and I think Power could be better at that. I almost brought this up last week, but I was I'll let it pass. Obviously Power hasn't been the best, but Dahlin hasn't been any good either. So I don't know. Since we're talking about Power for 20 minutes now, I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah, I think. I don't know how I want to say this. Eye test wise, I think I agree with you. And he will not be killing some sequences by thinking he should be taking the shot. I do think there's some. He doesn't have great numbers on the second unit in his career. I think last year he actually did in terms of shot generation number, shot quality. But his 1 year with Granado I'm looking at was pretty bad. But, he was on the second unit. What was he really working with in reality?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if we want to transition this into more of a power play conversation, we kind of touched on why I think the power play's on fraud watch a little bit. Like I said, I think it's because teams are adjusting. And I think one of the things they adjusted to is that despite the new energy and playmaking ability that the units have had, the first unit really still only has one true shooting threat. I love that Zach Benson has found his way onto the first unit. He doesn't trust his shot, and he might have good reason to. I don't know if it can beat goalies. He's not taking any shots on there. They know they're still trying to feed Thompson. And to this point, the team still doesn't have set plays, so it's they can cover Doan and Zucker pretty easily, because they're not really moving around, looking for a lot of bump plays. Any goal line plays they've been doing is primarily stuff plays, which I like. You need to mix those in. But Benson's not a shooting threat. Doan's a net front guy, and even then, I think he has a good shot, but it's not a huge shooting threat. And then you have Zucker, who same thing, not someone you have to cover, but not someone you have to shadow. And I think Thompson still has everybody's attention.
This is probably one of the reasons why Dahlin thinks he has to do all these one-timers from the point.
I agree. From his perspective, he's all right, we need to get a shot here, and which I agree with. in that sense. This is why I've kind of been, in my mind, a big proponent of let's take Jason Zucker off of there. Especially maybe keep him on now that Benson's hurt. Let's see what Kulik's got on the first unit.
I was going to bring this up tonight. And this is mainly because we haven't talked about Roseanne was recalled. Thank God. I mean, we've been talking. We've probably been the biggest proponents of Roseanne.
Round of applause for Isaac Roseanne.
Yeah.
First goal.
Yep.
That felt amazing. I mean, it felt vindicating. All right, it felt vindicating. It's funny. I said this the day he got recalled because I was like, hey, the good news is he's leading the AHL in points, so he deserves this. The bad news is they're all on the power play. But to see him come down, wire a shot past Lindgren, get his first goal, get the monkey off the back, like that was. Had
a good
Lindgren.
night.
Was it Thompson? I think it was Logan Thompson.
No, it was Lindgren.
Okay, Lindgren. They're both lefties, so it felt good. It was very vindicating. So good for him. Good for Isaac. I hope he keeps this rolling. I hope they keep giving him opportunity. He was out there in overtime at one point. That was cool to see.
Yep.
Very cool.
I thought that line had a very good night. Like Roseanne, Quinn, and
I was nervous.
Like
I thought that was going to be a line that just did not work. And eye test wise, looked pretty good.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is Roseanne was put on the top power play unit right away, which I think is deserving with how good he's been on the power play this year in the AHL and in years past. I mean, he had a one-timer on one of their power plays, and it was actually a good shot. And I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen a good one-timer from that side of the ice, like genuinely, because we talked about it. Peterka's,
You know when.
When?
It's Olofsson.
Oh,
Mr. 5-point game.
I can't. Yeah, that's true. I wasn't even thinking that far back, but yeah.
I mean, Peterka, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it was. He's just a very good power play player, and he's a very good playmaker. And Kulik, that was one of his big things when he was down in the AHL. He was so good on the power play. His one-timer was one of his best assets, and it just hasn't translated at all to the NHL, which is kind of weird. Yeah. I also don't think he's been given the best opportunities.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but
it's weird.
This is something I've always thought to myself. Whenever I see the second unit, Owen Power just does not go to him at all. He just doesn't. And look, the second power play unit gets very limited time. It's just Kulik is asking for it, and I feel like Power's just he just dumps it off and looks for a different play.
Yes, but if you think about it, think about all the Kulik one-timer goals in the AHL. It was Roseanne feeding him from across the ice. Yeah. I feel like if they really want to give Roseanne a shot on this power play, and you want Kulik to heat up on the power play, I think they should pair them back together. They were so good in the AHL together.
Maybe.
I'm not saying you put them both on the top unit. I'm saying maybe you push Roseanne down to the second unit to try and do this, but those two were electric together on a power play unit in the AHL, and I think that could be a big weapon.
I think it's an idea if another injury hits here, or maybe they throw if they threw, because Quinn's on the wing, he's on the hash on the second unit. So if they moved him up, maybe put him on his forehand side instead of setting up another one-timer on the first unit, then you have two wings open to do that. But it's something that Andrew Moss-Brooks and I discussed in our Amherst season preview episode before their season started. Kulik didn't get a lot of time, or Kulik didn't spend any time with the Amherst last season. I think he played 3 games, and obviously to that point, he had been the trigger guy, and once he was up with the Sabres, that changed. Well, who did it change to? It changed to Roseanne, and he was taking those shots, and to this point, same thing. He's kind of been a power play merchant for the Amherst. So I know Roseanne's been feeding him, but I think the reason they trusted him in that spot right away, I think They were just kind of like, hey, let's just see how this goes. But also, hey, he's done this down here for a year now. And this year he's off to another red-hot start where most of his points are coming from that location.
Yeah.
So,
and when was the last time on that hash we had someone who can not only shoot, I'm not saying Rosen has this incredible shot, but he can shoot, but that he's also a playmaker. When was the last time we had someone on the hash that could actually pass the puck?
probably Kyle Okposo his first season. Because his first season...
like a decade ago.
It's been 9 years. Because that first season... Everybody forgets. Kyle Okposo was really good. He was really good his first season in Buffalo. Made the All-Star team that year, and then the concussion stuff started. And the Sabres finished first on the power play that season in the NHL. So that's probably the last time we've had somebody on the right hash, and Okposo was a righty, so you didn't even really have a one-timer threat there.
Yeah, because like ideally Norris was supposed to be in that spot. He's still really not a playmaker. Like we've always just had a shoot first guy on that side, and I do think Rosen could succeed here because he can pass the puck too.
Yeah,
I feel like
I think Kulik's a little underrated.
I agree. I don't disagree. I know they didn't score last night. They didn't get set up on all their opportunities, but when they were set up, I do think in a small sample size it did look decent with Rosen over there.
Yeah, I'm open to it. You know, this is kind of sink or swim for him at this point. You know, there's injuries in the lineup. Norris is still out for God knows how long. Danforth is still out for a while. Benson, they put him on IR, so it's at least going to be a week. I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but at the very least, like he could fight his way into playing more than Jordan Greenway, which I don't know. Actually, that might be a tough ask because they're playing Jordan Greenway 20 minutes a night right now. Not actually. Well, actually, I don't know if it's 20 minutes a night. Let me check.
I checked. It was more than I thought. I mean, no, it was less than I thought. It
well,
actually, I think.
Well, he was what, third?
Minutes.
It was the Boston game. Somebody pointed out he was third in 5v5 ice time in his first game back. Like,
yeah.
And then he's on the top line last night. Like, Lindy, come on! If like I would get it if it's Granato. This was his guy, but my God,
you do gotta say though,
it's his first few games. That's my thing. Like, slow play this.
I agree with the Greenway point completely, but it is good that they're not just breaking up the McLeod line, and they're even giving Rosen a chance with this other line just to force Tage Thompson to be with two other good players. Because, I mean, Tage right now is, I'm going to say he's stuck with Greenway and Zucker, but that's because...
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, because our second line's been one of the best lines in the league. That's not an understatement. And then that third line, I mean, it's a kid line right now, and it looked good in the one-game sample.
I'm glad it did. I think with the injuries, I think we are reaching a point. They're probably going to have to break up that second line pretty soon here. At least take somebody, at least pluck somebody off of it.
Yeah.
Your top line cannot have Jordan Greenway and Jason Zucker on it.
Yeah.
And expect to win game. And I'm
Tage
surprised.
Look good.
I'm really surprised Zucker. He did look good the other night. Had a nice assist. Like, I think he's been playing hurt. Like, since he left the game against the Red Wings, I've basically been pretty certain he's playing hurt. So you have coming back from IR, who missed the entire training camp, Jordan Greenway. And you've got, I don't even know what the Zucker thing is, but you got a guy who's playing through injury and Jason Zucker on your top line. Like, that's not going to win you a lot of games. You know, you might have depth. Like I said, you might have depth. Use it. All right? Use it. The second line's been great. It's a nice keepsake for when the lineup is close to fully healthy, that you can reunite. Yeah. I'm just saying you might have changed things up. You probably won't next game, but if it goes not the greatest against Utah, that's where you might be standing.
Especially when Tage he's not played good. Like, he just has not looked that good either. And no. I agree with Zucker on the top line. I don't think he's been that noticeable in the power play this past 2 weeks probably. So if you were to make some sort of change on the power play, like, it probably would be him. But once again, I'll say, our bottom two guys don't touch the puck that much, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm just checking to see. Um, I'm glad they finally did it. Like, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I feel like he's worse off, and I don't think it's a coincidence he scored last game. You gotta put Tage Thompson at center, dude. You cannot keep doing this with the team you have now. You can't do it. I would argue even when the lineup was healthy. I mean, well, it was the story. It was kind of the silent storyline of the offseason. Like, hey, your center spine sucks on paper, and your second and the third line center don't. It's not really because of that. It's because your first line center was either Josh Norris or Yuri Kulik, and like I think the Boston game was kind of a perfect encapsulation of like why Tage Thompson doesn't work on the wing like he does at center. Because he's just less involved when he's on the wing, which I think is pretty. I think especially when he's in a slump like this, if he's not involved, like that's going to be worse for his confidence. But you know, like David Pastrnak is a top 10 player in hockey, and like he can do that from the wing, and he can cycle through an entire offense and be the difference maker when he steps on the ice. We're like Tage Thompson, he's not like that. I don't think, not from the wing. But when he's in the middle of the ice, when he's playing center, getting more touches, I think the team goes at a higher level. And I just, even when the team's healthy, I just think he needs to play center. I just think he does, and especially right now. Right now, you cannot have him playing wing. And I think you saw that with the Kulik and Benson line. You know, I was thinking about this. I think it was the Columbus game. Like the Columbus game, the top line was pretty much shut down. They just weren't having a good night. Benson, Kulik, and Thompson. Now we know Benson was playing hurt, and Kulik he's a on and off sort of player right now. And I think like when Zach Benson almost has to be the best player on that line for it to work or to really get going. Like, it sort of reminded me, remember last year, Norris's first 2 games? He played with Thompson and Peterka. And I thought it looked terrible. Like, just in terms of skill sets. I know Norris picked up a point, but I just didn't think it looked good. And then Peterka was out that third game, and they threw Benson up there. And Tage Thompson had a goal. And then Josh Norris had a goal. And I think it showed that like Benson was like really the kind of the difference maker there. And I think when you have skill sets like Thompson and Kulik need a playmaker on that wing, and obviously they went on to break the line up, but I just feel like Kulik's just not ready for that spot yet, and I just feel like Tage Thompson needs to be in the middle of the ice to be a difference maker. And it's probably time to try some new stuff on his, it's probably time to reunite him and Alex Tuch, I think is what I'm getting at here. Or maybe do Josh Stone. Or maybe, hey, I would kind of support putting Jack Quinn on the top line.
Yeah.
I would kind of support it. I think he's kind of earned a shot there. He's been doing really, I think he's looked really good in the lower the lineup minutes. I don't know. See what works there. It can't be Jordan Greenway and Jason Zucker, and Tage cannot be on the wing. I think the team's worse off for it.
This year for sure. I think last year, I honestly do think he was better at wing, but I just feel like right now he's really not moving his feet, and if you get him in the center of the ice, he's gonna be forced to move his feet even more, which will help. I just think he's playing very flat-footed, trying to dangle a lot of guys, having a ton of turnovers. I just think he needs to move his feet more.
And I think he has the tag of a perimeter player already. And like if you put him on the wing, if you put him on the outside of the ice, that's only going to make the issues worse. Like I'm sorry, like you were gifted a superstar. Like when Tage Thompson led the NHL in even strength goal scoring last year. Like he's a superstar. He is. And he played center. Like he did that as a center. And I know he played a lot of last season on the wing, but my point is like you were gifted this guy as your number one center, and I feel like you're just making your team worse off for it. Especially now when when your guy you wanted to play first line center is out. Like, why is that not your first move?
Yeah. The response to all of this going on can't be Jordan Greenway has to be forced to play center. That cannot be an answer.
I could not believe that, man.
That's inexcusable. It's crazy.
It's once again, it's like Granato did that once. He tried playing him at center for a few games. But in his case, it's like, okay, fine. Like, he just loves this guy. Like, Lindy, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Jordan Greenway at center in his first game back.
Yeah.
Dumb. You're sending down Noah Ostlund to do that. Like,
yeah, I know. I was thinking that right away. I was like, don't get me wrong, Noah Ostlund didn't flash. I thought he was fine. But he's a better center option over Jordan Greenway.
Or Constantinius. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he's killing it too right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Greenway stuff it's getting on my nerves already.
It's either Tage is either your center, or if you really don't want him as center, you have to call up one of those two, and you just have to deal with the bumps and bruises that you'll have with them being up until Josh Norris comes back. And once again, Krebs cannot be moved up in the lineup. I love Krebs. He's a fourth-line center. I think he was put at third-line center because Greenway was the fourth-line center. Krebs was a third-line center. It did not look good. I think it lasted a period before they switched it.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I just think we're reaching an inflection point where I think the second line has just been so good. I think we just need to put a pin in it for a little while.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I feel like they're one of the main reasons we're winning these games.
Maybe. I feel like something has to change.
I get the overall point you're getting to. I think it would be a mistake to break up that line right now.
All right. Anything else? We've kind of talked a while here. Regarding the team's games, at least, because we still have another big topic to talk about.
We still got a bunch to talk about. This is going to be record long episode, and I love it.
I do too.
Some people might not like it. I love the long episodes.
Some I can't. Yeah, we finally let go of the what's it called when a tractor trailer detaches the trailer? I'm looking for the wording.
I don't know what saying you're looking at.
We detached. I'm just trying to say Christian's not here anymore, and we're thriving.
Oh, I was not saying that at all. I'm just saying I like.
I'm just kidding.
Like these longer.
Well, I'm just saying, it's late. He'd be like half asleep, right? His eyelids would be closing shut.
That is true. That's a very valid point.
I mean, I can't imagine the type of jet lag he's dealing with in Dallas right now.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
It's 8:00 there, and his buddy's probably like, "Let's go out," and he's like, "Yeah, I'll go upstairs to bed."
Yeah. I love long episodes. But my favorite pods, like other podcasts I listen to, they're all long ones, and I think it's more. I feel like when it's these long ones, it's more of a natural conversation, and you're not getting quick through points. So that's why I like these. I don't know what other conversation you're bringing up, but I do want to shout out because I don't think we haven't really been critical of him. We've just said like Josh Dunn can't really be one of your guys in the lineup for a mainstay. These past few games, he's actually been pretty solid.
No, he's been.
I'm not
another
continue.
first goal. Hell yeah, that was awesome. I'm really mad they didn't win that game. Mm-hmm. That fourth line was maybe their best line against Columbus. It was actually pretty fun.
100%.
Like
100%.
They were just did their thing, and it worked. And I mean, it's a good story to root for. I think it. Hey, maybe he's getting his feet under him. He's getting more acclimated.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for the guy. He hasn't killed him yet.
I agree. I think I'm not gonna say it's gonna continue for the longest time. I once everybody gets healthy, I'm not sure he should be in the lineup, but he has been noticeably good these past few games. So I'm happy to see that. I do think if he keeps playing good, this does push Mason Geertsen out of the lineup even more.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm surprised he's actually still up. I mean, I guess I get it because like it's not like Dunn is playing. So.
Yeah, but I didn't want to shout him out because he's been good and happy for him, and I hope he continues it because he, like, Malenstein and Krebs, like, I think they're very good fourth line players. At the end of the day, they're small and fast players. Dunn is kind of he's different than them. He's more of like a Jordan Greenway kind of archetype, like more get in the player's face, a little more physical. So I hope it keeps working out. That fourth line's been better.
It's a good story.
Better this week.
Very cool story. Anything else? I'm trying to think. Let me touch on. I don't know. Josh Doan is just unbelievable, man.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Unreal.
Even Jay Fresh had his one chart about all the Sabres forwards. He said it's Josh Dunn's team. He's leading the team in like analytic offense.
He's close to point per game too. Like I don't know. He is a joy to watch.
Yeah, and it's everybody. I think all of the entire fan base is starting to fall behind him. Everybody loves him, and that is the Utah fans did say that we'd fall in love with him pretty quick, and that they were going to miss him. So we're 12 games in, and
I'm sure even they're surprised by this. Like he is just playing out of his mind hockey.
Yeah.
Okay. Still got to do the weekly preview. There's one more elephant in the room, and that would be regarding Alex Tuch. So, Marty Necas, someone who this free agent class really is going to be boring. He was like my one hope of like, not that like I thought the Sabres were going to sign him. Hey, he already said no to that once, apparently. He was my one hope of making the day interesting because it kind of seemed like him and the Avs were super far apart. He wasn't going to sign there, and it kind of lined up with what he was telling teams when he got traded from Carolina. Or he wasn't going to sign with Carolina. If the Sabres traded for him, it sounded like he wasn't going to sign with Buffalo. So I thought he was maybe going to hit the free agent market. Well, that didn't happen. He signed an $11.5 million AAV contract with wait, hold on. Christian's trying to call me right now.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. This could be interesting. Hold on. This could make for some great content.
Oh,
calling him back. Yo, you're on the air.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we've been going for 2 hours now.
2 hours?
2 hours.
Probably still have another 45 minutes.
Oh my goodness. You guys must be just yapping along, man.
Well, we spent like 30 minutes on your favorite goaltender. So, that was
UPL. All right. But it would have been so easy for me to just like dump on him immediately with how he performed in the first period, but I mean it's such a weird relationship, man. It's like he just, that shootout win.
It's like a parasite.
It is. It's weird. It's like, it's like five straight shootout saves and, kind of holds him through the third period. I mean, it's so weird. He's the most goalie of all goalies. Just insane.
How's your night been?
It's been good. It's been good. Texas is a good time. It is a good time.
Are you gonna have any? You gonna have any new like food? I know you're going to the Stars game. Are you gonna have any food reviews to bring back? I'm sure the people want to know.
You know what? Maybe I will. I will be in the arena, so I'll peruse around a little bit. I'll see what there is to offer, and maybe there'll be something interesting coming back.
All right, sounds like content to me.
Yeah. What does JP think of all the UPL stuff? I was curious to hear his take.
I mean, he was pretty negative, like in terms of like him starting that night. But then we had a good back and forth. You're gonna listen to the episode, right? You care about what we have to say. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I backed him.
Yeah.
I backed Luukkonen a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I'll mute you when you talk, but I'll listen to you. You know, I'll see what you have to say.
This is funny. This is funny.
I'll tell you what, though, man, it's warm down here. It's crazy. It's crazy how warm it is just all year round, other than like a couple weeks.
Yep.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, no, they don't even have pavement down here. It's all just concrete everywhere. Everything would melt.
Yeah, well, we're still where we are.
It's all right. And where else would you rather be?
Where else would you rather be? Well, I'd rather have you here with us, actually.
I know. I feel like a douche.
We wouldn't be going as long though.
Yeah, JP and we agreed that like we probably would have ended this episode because your eyelids would be like taped shut by this point.
Yeah, probably. we're gonna figure that out. You know, maybe I'll start
right.
Start hitting some energy drinks.
I was gonna say if you do what I do and just pop open a Monster Energy at 7:00 on a weeknight, then you know
they make you talkative, man.
They do.
I had one yesterday when I got here, and I'll tell you what, like it perks you right up.
Yes, it does. All right, I think we're gonna get back to this. Any closing remarks before I let you go here?
Enjoy the ride. Above 500 for the first time in over a year. Just over a year.
I know. I checked. It was, I think, what did I say, November 12th or something? Or no, 29th, was it?
I think it was October 29th of last year.
No, I think it was November because it was, remember they were.
Yeah, it was right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yep.
It was like,
Yep.
Yeah, it was 4 games into the streak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, yeah. All I'm gonna say is just enjoy the ride, and Josh Jones is legit, man.
I know
this guy.
We just wrapped up talking about him.
Everything you want and more out of a hockey player, right there. That's your guy, and you got Michael Kesselring out of it too. And Josh Jones wasn't even the main piece.
Nope.
What else could you say? What a move. Extend Kevin Adams.
All right, on
get
that
him
note,
off
JP says get him off the air. All right, brother.
Cut the mic.
Good talking to you. Safe travels.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
All right, guys.
Have a good night.
Soon.
What a character.
That he is.
Well,
It's always
before
warm
we were
down here. Yeah, it's Texas.
Man discovers warm weather.
It is pretty miserable right now in Buffalo.
I heard
Actually,
the conditions at the stadium were pretty good.
No, today was beautiful. I will agree with that. It was perfect fall weather, but we're in the time where it's rainy and 50, and that's just miserable.
Yep. All right, so before we were so rudely interrupted, the Alex Tuch thing. So yeah, Natchez signs for 11.5 for 8 years, and I think that's a good deal. Like that's about with the rising cap. Like that's what somebody like Natchez you would expect, I think, to receive. So here's the thing. We pointed to it right away. Alex Tuch is more of a comparable for Natchez than I think a lot of people would want to believe. And I know Jesse was one of them. He was very much so in the camp that Natchez is a much better player. And I do think Natchez is better. Like Natchez is a better hockey player than Tuch, I think. Or at least he's going to be over the course of that deal. Like if they both sign 8-year deals, Natchez will be the better player.
He's also 3 years younger.
And yeah, the younger factor, yes. But listen, I think a big part of that is Natchez has unlocked a new level in Colorado. But he's playing with the second best player on the planet. And it's not really to take away from him. It's more so that, look, if you look at these players, if you isolate them individually, since 22, 23, They are very, very similar players. Not the greatest defensively. Primarily offensive point producers, and primarily point producers kind of more so. Well, I guess Tuch is kind of better in the first line role for the majority of his time here, where like Natchez was up and down with Carolina. In 249 games, in his last 249 games, this is not counting, this is the day, we tweeted this out. The day that Natchez signed that deal, in his last 249 games, he had 220 points. Tuch's last 241 games, he has 214 points. That's damn near identical. And those are the types of numbers that Alex Tuch and his agent will be bringing to the table in a negotiation. The number one driver for a contract in the NHL is which other contract is similar to the one that you seek. And this is going to be brought up. And this is what was said immediately after. This could be the closest contract comparable that Tuch will have, not named Alex Kempe. Whatever Kempe signs for, if he blinks first, that is what Alex Tuch will be signing for. And at the very least, and this is something that Elliot Friedman has basically said the next day on 32 Thoughts, Alex Tuch is making no less than, he's making double digits at the very least. On a long-term basis, on a 7 or 8 year deal, he's making $10 million minimum. And I think that's raised to, I think in a world where he takes a quote-unquote hometown discount at this point is 10.5. I think it's 10.5. Like, that would be the discount version, because you're looking at Natchez, and while Natchez is younger, slightly better, Tuch is, A, he has all the friggin' leverage in the world with Buffalo. He's got all of it. And B, UFA years are more expensive. He'd be maybe the hottest free agent on the market going into it. And maybe biggest of all, he's had a very modest contract for 8 years now. He's had maybe the best contract in hockey. And he's going to be, and as Friedman said on 32 Thoughts, he will be looking for, like, he's going to get his dollar amount in this deal, unless he suddenly takes a hometown discount. Like, this is what we're looking at here. And, man, Alex Tuch for 8 years at $11.5 million. Man, this changes the dynamic so much. And I just think it's, I basically said it in the last few episodes as we've talked about this. I'm on the Alex Tuch trade him train. Where, like, I just don't think that you cannot sign yourself up to that dollar amount. And it sucks. It sucks. But 8 years for somebody who's already 30, right? I think he's 30 at this point.
He's 29.
29. When's his birthday?
May. So
okay. So when he starts the deal,
starts
the deal next season, he would be 30.
Yeah.
And $11.5 million. I can't sign up for that. I can't. It's too much. Like, I think two things. One, in the summer, his projections for an extension were like 9.8. And I remember there was debates about that. Was that too much over 7 or 8 years? Now we've gone up nearly $2 million. And I remember seeing, I think it was Dom from The Athletic, said in their contract model, his projection is not even double digits for like what a fair deal looks like. I mean, and that's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. That's not just going from 9.5 to 10.5. This is a substantial change in the dynamic.
They are more comparable than I thought. I mean, you're looking at the numbers. Nietzsche's his career high was last year's 83 points. Tuch's career high was 79 points. That was 22-23. He had 67 points last year. They're more comparable than you think. Nietzsche's has very good numbers on the power play, which helps him, but Tuch's also very good on the penalty kill.
Right, and that's the other thing, too. It's kind of like roles. Like, part of the reason Tuch has so much leverage is, like, the Sabres. And it's part of the reason why I understand people don't want to let go of him. Holy crap, is he important to the fabric of the team. Maybe,
that's
if Tage Thompson's playing center, he's your top right wing. He's on your first power play unit in his time spent in Buffalo. This stretch that we're looking at now was the first time he hasn't been on the first unit. He's on your first PK unit. He's one of the leaders on the team. I get it. I totally understand why it's almost, for some people, you cannot let him go. You need to give him the blank check.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. It's that contract is insane to think about, but he's just such an integral part of this team. It would be a massive loss, and I don't think you're recreating that with any trade you do. Like it's will be very hard to replace him, but signing him up for an age 37 season at $11.5 million is crazy. Like, I feel like if it wasn't 8 years, and let's just say it was 5 years, like, does that make you any more?
I think I would say
sign it?
Probably. But, like, this is the conversation that we had a lot when, I think, like 1 or 2 episodes ago, when I think it was when they had the 0-3 start, and we were bringing up, like, hey, Tuch's going to be the first guy to go if they're bad. Like, you need to be realistic. What is your cup window? Like, what are we building towards at the end of the day? You can make your jokes, Sabres, hey, worry about the playoffs first. Worry about getting there. Yeah, I get that. But when you're making decisions like this, you need to be thinking, like, hey, what are we signing up for here? What is our window? What are we building towards? What are these contracts going to look like, when we're in our window here? And, like, your cup window with the Sabres is, like we said, like, you probably want to make the playoffs this year. Next year, you would hopefully be building towards, hey, win a round or two, probably just one round. You probably want to stack a round win every year, ideally, right? So that means in 3 to 4 years, you begin your cup window. And it's like in 4 years' time, Tuch's going to be 34, making $11.5 million when other big contracts, Tage Thompson will be nearing the end of his deal. He'll be looking for his last big payday. Zach Benson will be in his extension, maybe. Josh Doan. I mean, my God, what does a Josh Doan contract extension look like? I mean, should probably get on that right now. Michael Kesselring, what does his contract extension look like? And players that you acquire in the future. Like, I know, it's hard to talk about a Sabres Cup window when you don't. It goes without saying. It's tough to talk about that. It can be a funny conversation. But when you're making an evaluation like this, when you're deciding what Alex Tuch is for your team moving forward, you need to be discussing it. And him making $11.5 million at that age, at that point in time, could be a huge road. I feel like it would be a huge roadblock. Like, we're living through his best seasons right now.
Yeah, I mean, if he was 3 years younger, you probably sign up for that deal.
Probably. You probably say, hey, the 8th year would be when he's, 35?
Yeah.
You'd probably be like, well, in a rising cap world, by the end of it, he's probably still worth that. I don't know. I mean, especially Tuch, so much of his game is speed. And he's not so much a physical power forward, but, hey, he blocks a lot of shots. He does take some sort of... he plays a very high-octane style. How is that going to age? I would maybe argue not so gracefully. He probably... he would have to, there's only not many players turn into Corey Perry where you just completely change your style from one of the best like snipers and sort of power forwards in hockey to becoming like a net front demon. I think that would be like a model for Alex Tuch. But at the same time, Corey Perry wasn't making double-digit figures for the Oilers and the Stars and the Lightning, or not the Lightning, the Habs in their cup runs. Like he was on minimum value deals.
Yeah. At the end of his deal, this is a weird comparison, but at the end of his deal, he would be older than Kyle Okposo than he is right now. Kyle Okposo was the oldest guy on our team in what? Or other than Craig Anderson, he was
That's a
what,
crazy
36?
way of framing it.
He was 35 or 36, but it's like, I understand Tuch is better than Okposo, but like,
also not, no concussion issues. That wasn't,
yeah.
Okposo wasn't your average age decline.
Yeah, I'm just saying right now, Okposo's 37. You would have Tuch in his age 38 year, and by most NHL standards, you would say Okposo is very old to play in the NHL and was past his prime and wasn't as effective as a player. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't, like, I hope Tuch is still an impactful player by that point, but it's like he's going to be 38 by the end of that deal. Like, it's just, he's such an integral part of this team that I don't think you can afford to lose him right now. And I think you could even make that argument for the next few years. But that back half of the deal, I think, can look very bad very quickly. And I think that's the main concern with this. It's not that he's not valuable to this team now. You're not replacing him. He's one of your best players. I mean, if you're thinking about our top 3-on-3 unit last night, it was Tuch, Tage, and Dahlin. Those are your three best players.
Mm-hmm.
You lose him, you're losing a lot. He's one of the best players. He's a leader. He does so much for this team. That's not what this contract conversation's about. It's about the back half of the deal.
I mean, that's what makes it tough. Like, it's not like I don't want to write off. It's like, all right, well, that's it for Tuch as a Sabre. Sorry. It's like, man, this sucks. But it's like, where this leads. It's not going to be worth it. There's like, and like, that's a perfect cup window where it's like 3 to 4 years. Maybe Tuch does age a bit more gracefully, and he can give you another 60, 70-point season at that age. But it's like such a tight margin for error. There's no way he's worth that $11.5 million by the end of the deal. And, it sucks, dude. It sucks that they've wasted this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he might be on the best contract in hockey, like these past few years. Like, everybody talks about Tage. Everybody talks about Jack Hughes. Everybody talks about Cale Makar. Everybody talks about best contracts in terms of like superstar, what superstars do in relation to their AAV. Alex Tuch making $4.75 million. I think that's what he makes. I know it's in the it's 4 point something. Like him making that, especially in his years as a Sabre, where he's become a first line player, like pound for pound, dollar for dollar, like that is maybe the best value contract in hockey. And you've just kind of squandered it. And like you said, like now you're walking into a situation, he has all the leverage and you're buying UFA years, and he can, like, he walks in, like everything we're saying about him, he walks into, maybe not him personally, but his agent walks into that room saying the same thing, where it's like he's such an integral piece. He's on your top line a lot of nights. He's on your first power play unit most of the time. He's on your first PK unit. He's a leader. He's big in the community, this and that. And it's like, it's either you pay up to him or you don't. You're not going to be able to, you can't do like a Mikko. I know Mikko Rantanen was traded twice before he accepted his offer, but you're not going to be in a situation where Tuch relents and is like, well, all right, I'm clearly not going to get this number. I'll take $1 million or $2 million lower.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. You just, for this team right now, and we're trying to break a playoff drought and hopefully build towards something. I just don't think you can lose him. The dollar amount is crazy, and I know you should be thinking about that end of the contract, but man, I mean, I think we should just worry about the team right now, and hopefully we can build towards something. And look, there's a lot of contracts that are signed after like a team actually wins something, and they look very bad. But it's like, oh, you've already won something. You've already accomplished the goal. Like, this is once again crazy to think of. If the Sabres were to win the Stanley Cup in 5 years, and then the next 3 years we have Tuch at 11.5, I don't think anybody would care.
No.
But
how likely
you
is
have
that,
to actually
though?
get there.
It's like, yeah.
I know it's a tough situation to be put in no matter what. The Sabres put themselves in a situation. They should have extended him a lot earlier. I was wrong about that. Christian was wrong about that. You were the only one pretty much saying that, but
yeah,
they should have done it last season. It shouldn't have just been this summer.
My thing, I mean, by the start of the season, I was like, okay, they're clearly effing around with the dollar amount, which is like, it kind of appears that way. Like, it, from everything Friedman was saying and like kind of what others have been saying, like, it kind of seems like if they had been willing to go like 10, maybe 10.5, like this would have been done in the summer. Like, I think there's a chance like maybe it could have been done for under 10, but you're probably looking like it was probably looking to be around $10 million. They could have done that in the summer. They did not meet all the necessary qualifications, like bonuses or whatever. Like, as I put it in, I think either I forget which episode it was, but they fucked around with the dollar amount. That's basically what they did, and now it's going to burn them. They will not get him for that same amount. Natchez, I mean, you can look at Kaprizov, you can look at Natchez. They've reset the markets, and Tuch only gains a higher price as every day passes. Especially with, he's been off to a great start with the Sabres this year. Like, we talk about Dahlin, we talk about Tage, we talk about Power. Like, these are guys that are not playing their best hockey. Alex Tuch's playing his best hockey. He looks great. He looks like a guy playing in a contract year. And like you said, you know, he's on one of the best lines in hockey right now.
Yep. It's a bad situation to be in. It's, as it goes on longer, it's probably going to get worse. And as you get closer to the trade deadline, decisions will have to be made. So it's, as the days go on, this conversation will become less and less fun. And I know even like in our big group chat, a lot of people are saying, you know, it's trade talk, like that dollar value is ridiculous for him. It's tough to disagree. Like, I think, I know you're firmly on that. I am at the point where I don't think you can lose him, but I understand that contract value is just, it's too high for what he actually is and what he actually will be. But I'll bring up a saying that I personally hate. The cap is going up. So if the cap keeps going up, it might not be as impactful as you might think.
It's like you have to address that. But also, like, I feel like these teams have cap projections. So I guess you would maybe have to trust them if they sign this deal. But I don't know. I feel like that's a cop-out answer. Sort of. Like, it's not wrong. Like, his 11.5 today is going to be worth a lot less in a few years by the end of that deal. But, like, how much less?
Well, I agree. I hate when people say that, actually. I don't even like I think we've said that in the past, and not even to point anybody out in particular, but I think you've said that in the past, and I don't like that argument.
Yeah.
But I do think it's always a valid argument. I just think it's a dumb one.
Yeah, it's dumb. Anyway, sign Benson and Doan ASAP, because their dollar amount will not be worth the same. I mean, genuinely, I joke about it. Like, what are we like? You should not wait. If the Tuch stalemate, or if the Tuch negotiation is a stalemate now, what else are you doing right now in your day-to-day life? Like, I guess like they're not making long-term decisions with the current staff, but like, God, that would suck because Benson and especially Doan, like, I guess Benson you want to see more of to see what he is, but like Doan is like, dude, sign this guy now.
Yeah, he's in RFA next year.
I don't even know what Doan's comparable would be, which is like that's the best situation to be in. his contract negotiation would probably be so.
Actually, both of them are. They're both RFAs.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, they're both eligible for extensions.
Yeah.
You know, like that's going to be the worst part of this. You didn't get Tuch done. Next summer, Benson and Doan are probably not going to kill you in cap, like they shouldn't, but they'll cost more every passing day.
Yep, I will agree with that.
Okay, I think, are we ready for the weekly preview? I think we've gone on long enough. Anything else to add to the talk conversation before we get off?
I don't think so.
I need a
don't
sip
think
of
so.
water bad, but we're gonna tough this out.
Yeah. What is this other?
You'll see.
other,
We'll do it after.
Okay.
It's a small thing.
All right.
Very small thing.
All right. The weekly preview. This upcoming week we have 3 games. We're facing Utah, the Blues, and Carolina. We face Utah at home Tuesday at 7 p.m. This will be on MSG. As everybody knows, this is the JJ Peterka revenge game.
No, it ain't.
That will be the conversation the whole night. This is Peterka's first time back in Buffalo. The upcoming week, we're back in Utah.
He has missed the chip strip so bad.
Yeah, no, I think him and Quinn are gonna relive old times and have a night or two while they're here. This is our first ever game against the Mammoth. I mean, obviously we faced Utah last year, but now they're officially the Mammoth. But the entire conversation of this game will be Peterka, Doan, and Kesselring. So we'll see how that works out. Goaltender matchup, I think it's going to be UPL versus, oh geez, I don't know if I could say this name. Karel Velmelka.
Oh my god.
Velmelka. Or their backup is Vitek Ivanichuk. Velmelka is 6-3. He has an .890 save percentage, 2.75 goals against. They did play today, so these numbers aren't completely updated. And I don't think he had a good day today, but he had 4 goals above expected, 4 goals saved above expected before tonight's game. But I know he let in 3 on 25 shots, so I'm sure that number went down. Vanacek, he is 2-1, .913, 2.01 goals against, and 3 goals saved above expected. The Mammoth are 8-4, third in the Central. This past week they beat Winnipeg, and then they lost to Edmonton, and they lost to the Lightning today. With their Winnipeg win earlier this week, they were on a 7-game winning streak, and now they are coming into Buffalo on a 2-game losing streak. And like I said, they played today, so they'll be on one less day of rest compared to us. So they have been playing some very good hockey. I think they've been one of the big talking points of the NHL, which how good they've been playing.
Definitely.
Their power play is 15th in the league. Their penalty kill is 24th in the league. Their best player so far this year has been Nick Schmaltz. He is off to a very hot start. In a contract year, by the way, he has 7 goals and 10 assists in 12 games. Just for reference, he had 63 points last year, and that was in a full 82-game season. Right now, he's on pace for 116 points. He is off to a very hot start, and he is going to get paid. And they already paid someone else on this team this past week. They just paid Logan Cooley, who got a 8-year by $80 million, so $10 million per year. And he has 8 goals this year and 12 points. In addition to that, Gunther and Keller, they also have 12 points. Their forward lineup is very top-heavy, at least when it comes to scoring. Their top 5 forwards have 10 or more points. Their next highest point total is 4 points, and that's Barrett Hayden. So it's pretty much Peterka, Keller, Gunther, Cooley, and who's the other guy? Nick Schmaltz. So it's those 5 guys really driving the offense. Their defensemen of Sergachev, Ian Cole, and John Marino all have more points than Hayden. So it's really those top 5 guys putting in all the points. For the former Sabres, obviously, it is JJ Peterka. He has 4 goals and 6 assists in 12 games. I do want to point this out. He has no power play points. So our
Shocker.
yeah,
Shocker. I mentioned Skinner as the worst power play player I've ever seen. Peterka's up there. He's like
definitely
tier
up there.
2.
Yeah, he's pretty rough.
I don't think he's on their first unit though.
I was gonna say
which
I'm not sure if he's on that top unit.
Which was one of my predictions because they had a very good power play last year, and then you obviously have Keller and Gunther running the wings, running the hashes, and Peterka. That's kind of where he usually has to be.
Yeah, a lot of Peterka, I think, charts and analytics have been thrown out there in the past few weeks. He's been very, very good for them.
Oh, he's been amazing.
And I think the most surprising part is his defense numbers have actually been very good too. I mean, for the Sabres, he was a very one-dimensional player.
He was last year. He was like he just didn't play defense. I think his defensive numbers with under Granato weren't too bad. He is putting up like really good defensive numbers this year, which I think is a big surprising. But I think that's a system effect, and it's a small sample size. But I don't think what we saw last year was completely him. I don't know. I'm not totally blindsided by it, but it is a little. Looking for the word. It is a little surprising, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been very good. It's looking like it's going to be a win-win trade. Right now, he is playing on a line with Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. So he's actually on their second line, but obviously that line has been pretty damn good. My key to this game is to win the first Peterka versus Doan and Kesselring battle, and honestly keep Peterka off the score sheet. If I were a betting man, I would probably bet Peterka to score. So he's probably going to have a good game. I would not be surprised one bit.
So we brought this up before we move on to games here. Do we boo Peterka? I think you know my opinion.
I would say no, honestly.
Wrong answer.
I don't know.
Textbook booing a player. He asked out as an RFA after his rookie contract.
Yeah. I guess so.
I enjoyed watching him play, but we will be in the building that night. I will be booing.
That is true.
I'll clap during the video tribute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I always like Peterka, and I still
he
like
was
him.
Very fun player to watch. It's just, very. The Band-Aid was ripped off very quick at the end, and it was still very surprising and disappointing, really. It was disappointing the way it ended.
Didn't he make some comments right after he got traded?
No. After he got traded?
I thought he said something.
No. I know people were like overanalyzing a clip a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought it really was.
Well, people thought he was like they thought he was doing like
he
an
said
Eichel
something about the crowd.
He said it was going to be nice to go home to a crowd that's like loud in the games when Utah was like on a road swing.
Yeah.
So people were like, "Oh, he's talking shit about Buffalo." It's like, no, they're on a road swing and they're heading home to Utah.
I thought he was interviewed like at a bar in Utah or something.
I do remember that. I do vaguely remember that.
I forget what he said, but I remember there was some sort of comments, and I think there was something out of it.
That's coming back to me now.
All right. Well, while I'm doing these other previews, try and find that if you can, because I do remember that. I forget what the comments were. I probably should have tried to look that up, but so yeah, that's a big game because first of all, they're playing very good, and obviously the Peterka revenge game. All right, and then we play the Blues on Thursday. This is also at home, and this will be on MSG. This is the first of their quote-unquote Throwback Thursday Goathead games For these games, there's supposed to be throwback theme music, content, entertainment, alumni appearances, and pennant giveaways. For this game, the first 5K fans in attendance will get a goat head pennant. The goaltender matchup, I'm going to assume, is going to be Colton Ellis. And then, honestly, the story of the Blues is their goaltending pair has been the worst in the league. It's been
so bad.
atrocious.
It's actually kind of funny.
These numbers, these raw numbers are so bad, and the analytics are also so bad. It's actually insane. Jordan Binghamton and Joel Hofer, that's who their two goalies are. Binghamton is 2-4-2 with an .860 and a 3.21 goals against, negative 4.9 goals saved above expected. That's 6th worst in the league. Joel Hofer is 1-3 with the .829 and a 5.16 goals against, with a negative 5 goals saved above expected, which is 5th worst in the league. The Blues are not having a good year, and it is because of goaltending and the fact that they waived Colton Ellis, and he had a very good first game, and the other two goalies are playing awful. It's just very, very interesting. The Blues are 3-7-2. They're 8th in the Central. They're currently on a 7-game losing streak, with losing to Pittsburgh, Detroit, Vancouver, and Columbus this past week. Before they play us, they play Edmonton, and they play Washington. Both those, I'm going to guess, are also going to be losses. So they could be coming on a 9-game losing streak to Buffalo. And I will also say they play Edmonton Monday, Washington Wednesday. So we're also getting a team on their second half of a back-to-back once again. And like I said, they're obviously traveling here, and they're going to be also in Washington. So we will be getting them on short rest, just like we got Washington on short rest. Their only notable move this offseason was trading Zach Bolduc for Logan Mailloux. I had to bring that up because it is working out awful for them, because Mailloux has not been good and Bolduc's been solid. Their power play is 11th in the league. Penalty kill is 27th. No one on their team is really off to a good start. Highest performer is Jordan Kyrou with 8 points in 12 games. Jake Neighbors does have 6 goals and 7 points in 8 games, but he's currently on the IR. And Robert Thomas has 5 assists and 6 points in 8 games, but he's been out for the past few games. He was skating today, so he might be back this week. They don't have any former Sabres on the team, and my key to this game is to get shots to the net, take advantage of their goaltending because it's been hilariously bad, and also take advantage of the back-to-back, just like they did with Washington, even though honestly, you probably could not tell which team was on that Washington was on a back-to-back because they played pretty good. And then we face at Carolina Saturday night at 7 p.m. This is on MSG. Jonah brought this up last week. It has been 9 years since we have won in Carolina. Do you know the goal scorers of that game?
So I remember I brought this up before. I think one was Johan Larsson.
Yep. He had the game winner.
Did Matt Molson have one?
Nope.
Did Legwand have one?
Nope.
I know wasn't one Koliakovo?
Yes, Koliakovo with his only goal as a Sabre and the last goal of his career.
And then I remember. I think it was Vander Kane. He had the other one.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I actually do know
some
this,
people are gonna be like, man, I can't believe you guessed that. I remember researching that before.
Yeah.
Like the Koliakovo one is just imprinted in my mind. Like that's the guy who scored. That's how long it's been. It's been 9 years.
That one's crazy.
It's 10 years this season.
Yeah, it might.
It was 15-16. Holy shit,
yeah, it was
dude.
at 15-16.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And you wonder why Jonah hates the Hurricanes so much. Like, obviously he hates them now for other reasons, but there's always something underlying in, when hatred starts. And this was probably subconsciously we can't beat this team in Carolina.
We have to beat these losers.
Yeah. Their goaltender matchup, I think it might be Lyon versus Frederick Anderson. Their backup is Brandon Bussey. Anderson
What was
is
that?
Anderson is 4-3 with an 894, 2.96 goals against. He has a 2.1 goal save above expected. Their backup goalie is 3-1 with a 916 save percentage, a 2.25 goals against, and a 3.6 goals saved above expected. Today, at least this was a few hours ago now, they did recall Pyotr Kochetkov,
Go check off.
Kochetkov from their AHL team. He started 47 games last year for the Hurricanes. He went 27, 16, and 3 with an 898, 2.6 goals against.
A proud member of the Jeff Skinner trade.
Yep. From the very limited research I did, it didn't look like Hurricanes fans are a fan of this guy. They weren't too happy he was recalled, but he did start a lot of games last year. The Hurricanes are 7-4, and they're third in the Metropolitan. This past week, they lost to Vegas, beat the Islanders, and then lost to Boston. They have lost 4 of their last 6 after winning their first 5 games. They do play the Rangers Tuesday and the Wild before us on Thursday. Their power play is actually last in the league with a 9.4%. Their PK is 12th in the league. Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho both have 11 points in 11 games. As most people probably know, Sebastian Aho is a Sabres killer. He has 16 goals and 13 assists and is a plus 12 in 22 games against us.
God. If only he was like that in the playoffs. Maybe they would win some games in the conference finals.
Yep. 4 former Sabres, I counted 4 of them. They have quite a few. They have Taylor Hall, 2 goals, 4 assists in 11 games. Eric Robinson, 3 goals and 1 assist in 7 games. Mark Jankowski, 1 assist in 6 games. And William Carrier, a goal and 2 assists in 7 games.
I thought Tyson Jost was still there this year. And it looks like he went to Nashville.
Yep. So they have quite a few. So you'll definitely see some familiar names. But none of them are doing anything too crazy. My key to this game is actually going to be go all out for this win. They have 3 days off after this game. They play that Saturday, and then they don't play until Wednesday. So this is a game where you can really play all your guys a bunch. You could double shift. Darlene could play 30 minutes on a night like this. I think this is a game where you have no excuse to really just roll your top guys. So you got 3 days off after that, but then you do have a back-to-back, and then you don't have any days of rest for some time, or 1 day between games for some time. So you got 3 days off here. Take advantage of it. So that's all.
All right.
So, yeah. Once again, we face Utah at home, Blues at home, and then at Carolina.
Big week. Every week's big.
Yep.
I will be treating... Remember that conversation we had at the start about secluding ourselves potentially for big games? That will be me Saturday. It'll be locking myself in my room.
Sounds about right.
To watch history. Okay. So.
Did you find anything on Peterka?
No, I couldn't find the interview. Probably
All
it'll
right.
take me some more time.
Yeah, that's all right. I just remember something was said.
Yeah. So, I was going to do this because I didn't know if we would have enough time to fill. Well, this is our longest episode ever.
By like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Even our draft live stream, we're getting close.
You know what? That's true.
The draft live stream, but that's, it's not a normal episode. But I do wonder how long that was.
I thought it was like 3.5, 4 hours.
I think it was over
crazy.
3. It was
Okay,
it was 3 hours and 42 minutes.
Yeah, because that was the
Well, we could
longest
keep
draft in
going.
history.
We only have an hour to go. We're almost there, essentially.
Oh, boy.
Well, I was going to do this just to,
Just to kill some time.
kill some time, but I guess we won't be needing that. I was going to do my favorite YouTube comments of the week.
Oh, no.
We got some comedians in our comments section. They make me laugh.
I do like this segment, so I'm not dissing the segment. It's just always
Well, I have a feeling
seems to be pointed at me.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna start. The favorite comments are probably gonna usually be like disses, like if we're talking like past comments that would have made this segment. I will never forget. I don't know if it was a normal episode or it was a one of our like Atlantic preview episodes. But I remember I took a picture of it. Remember it was so somebody was talking about us and they called us 3 separate names. Okay, here it is. So the comment was like the 3 amigos, Sleepy, Droopy, and Doc or something.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
That one just made me laugh. Anyways, I think I have two competitors for this segment. Unfortunately, they are both about JP.
I don't know about a second one. I know about
the one was just mean. The other one was just kind of funny because I think the other guy was just serious, but it's just very funny to read. So straight up, I mean, this comes from the accounts. I don't know. The channel name is Cordell Lee, and the comment just says, "JP, fix your eyebrows."
I don't know what's wrong with them.
I don't know if there's an issue with your eyebrows. I don't know.
I've been staring at them all episode now, just so you know.
That's not good. Now he knows he's getting to you.
Yeah, well, most ones it's like, okay, like I agree. Like I'm a weird eater. Like I'm not gonna. You can make fun of me for that all you want. This one, it's like I've never heard this one before. I asked my girlfriend. I was like, "Is there something wrong with my eyebrows?" She's like, "I don't think so." That one's just out of left field.
So honestly, I think more context would be appreciated, right?
Maybe. I don't know if I want to hear it, but maybe. Hey, if it's gonna make one listener happy, then maybe I will quote unquote fix my eyebrows.
Good answer. That's a good answer to that question. So the other one was from a short that we put out on YouTube, and it was one we were talking about. JP, his obsession or his beef with sesame seeds.
Mm-hmm. I saw some people agreeing with me. Just so you know, I'm assuming that's not what you're reading, but
no,
there were quite a few people that agreed with me.
Not reading the good comments. Nope, never.
I saw there were quite a few people agreeing with me, so I did feel.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, this one comes from Bobby DeVille, and this was about JP complaining about the sesame seeds, and he says, "Why are you crying? If it tastes good, stop complaining. There are people on this planet starving to death, and you're crying about seeds."
Okay.
He makes a good point.
I did see that comment.
He makes a good point.
Yeah, you don't really have a comment.
You don't. Yep. Yeah, you don't know what to say. He's got you there.
Sure, he's got me there. I guess every other food review in the world is just, every food critic, they're just wasting their time. Their jobs don't matter.
I guess, yeah. This guy cracked the code.
He's not wrong, but it's, I guess you're no longer able to criticize food.
No, not anymore. It's over. Bobby ruined the fun for everybody.
No more Christian's Cafe.
All right, that's all I got. I hope that motivates people to just send us some funny stuff.
Yeah, great.
I could be opening Pandora's box here.
Keep coming at me.
Don't know. Everybody's open for some, we got no shame. When you have haters, that's when you know you've made it.
That is true. I think I did text that when let me see, because I know the eyebrow one was texted in our group chat. Jonah just said when you have haters, you know you've made it. So
yeah.
Yep.
You've made it.
That's right.
All right, that's all I got. Damn it.
You sure you don't want to go another 7
I
minutes?
was going to say, I was like, I really want to stretch to 7 minutes here. I think we've gone long enough.
Well, you could shout out the BST pod, and we could.
We could talk about. Well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I'm just saying the big Bills game obviously happened today. Not
Yeah.
saying we have to go
I mean, I don't
in-depth
want to
on
steal
this,
their
but
thunder.
it's. Hey, but they talk about the Sabres a little. I mean, they are the Buffalo Sports Talk podcast. They could talk about anything Buffalo sports.
They don't have any credibility when they're talking about the Sabres. Well, actually, you know what? Max has some good points, but Ryan, no. He should just let Max cook.
Let him cook. Max has a lot of good takes. Red Sox fan, knows his stuff for Sabres.
Yep.
Ryan, on the other hand,
Doesn't know
just there.
ball.
But obviously a big Bills win today. They'll definitely be
big
covering that. And I could already tell you they're going to be talking about the timeout usage because that was just no excuses for 4 or 5 of the timeouts they called.
Yeah,
That was
I don't
crazy.
know. I know it. I guess I have to see how it kind of settles in. I don't feel the greatest about that win coming out. Like it didn't change my I guess the one thing that would have changed, I guess, is the defense. And I mean, Harrison was obviously great. Bishop was great. But Hoyt was kind of
was great.
Bosa was great. But I think Bosa was great in part because Hoyt was playing so well.
Yeah.
And then just like that, you just lose him.
That's very bad for the offense. He looked very good in the 2 games that he played with us. That's especially with that Oliver out too.
Just 2 big blows back to back.
Your D line has actually looked good this year, but now we have injuries, and you got the trade deadline coming up in 2 days.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
they had a balanced attack on offense, which was nice. The running was working. They had a good passing day. I think that's the best version of this version of the Bills, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Because I feel like it's the first time in a while we've seen the passing step up, and I don't know if I feel confident enough about it moving forward just yet.
No, I agree.
You still had some questionable play calls in there. I mean, we were
The amount
joking
of
about it at one
screens that were
point.
called.
Yeah, I mean, Shakir at one point had what
He
was
6 catches
5
for 22 yards at some point.
He was 5 or 6 of 7 for 20 yards.
Yeah.
As you watch Patrick Mahomes convert a 4th and 17.
Yeah,
with ease.
Yeah, absurd. It worked today, but I still don't have much confidence in this passing offense. With
you didn't.
It's credit. Josh Allen as a game manager.
Yeah, it's credit to the defense because they were getting to Mahomes a lot. They were hitting him left and right. I mean, he took a beating today.
Yeah, they did have 2 guys out, or at least Juwan Taylor got hurt, but they had someone else out.
But I don't think you didn't get, the usual Mahomes. So you wonder how that game goes if you get that version of him. But hey,
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's still a big win, especially for standings. I mean, they're 5-4. We need that since the Patriots just won. I feel like the game should not have been as close as it was. I mean, it was 28-13, and then we had opportunities to score after that, and we didn't.
Yeah.
But it was a 1 Buffalo weekend. Even UB
it
football
was.
won. So
Even UB football won.
A 1 Buffalo weekend.
That's right. Unless you're a Jays fan. I know it's not Buffalo, but obviously a lot of Buffalo people are Jays fans.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of, we have a lot of Yankees and even Red Sox fans. Mostly Yankees fans, though, commencing on a hate watch. So I guess they won in a sense. But rooting for LA after last year is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I
that's
couldn't root for the Dodgers.
I don't know. I didn't have a dog in the fight. I was just enjoying some good baseball.
Yep.
We got 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes for the rest of our lives. 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes to fill.
You go on your spiel. I'll think of some sort of last.
Oh man, I don't know what else. What else is there to talk about? I don't know. I feel like I've emptied the tank.
I think that's.
Oh, come on.
I don't know how much longer I could talk.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. There has to be something else that happened. NHL wide, there has to be something that happened.
I mean, we only briefly mentioned it, but Ovechkin still has not scored his 900th goal. It wasn't against us.
This is true.
I was thinking as I was watching the game, I understand how good he is on the power play, but some of the stuff he does is some of the most shameless power play I've ever seen. He's playing 2 minutes no matter what, and he's basically just gliding around out there. It's kind of funny.
It's setting a bad example for our guys because they will take after it.
Yeah, like I don't get me wrong, his one-timer is still insane, but watching him, like if the puck goes out of the zone, he's basically just gliding around everywhere. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I got something. I got something good to end.
Best goal scorer of all time.
Shout out Buffalo Joe Andreessen, going on the Sabres broadcast.
Yes.
And rightly proclaiming that this is a hockey city or hockey town.
Yes.
Ball knower.
For sure. That was awesome to see, especially some
Shout out
Bills
Lancaster,
fans.
hey.
Yeah.
Shout out Lancaster alum.
BST. They've done 2 interviews with them.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
Go listen to that. But it was funny. Some Bills fans were not too happy that he said that.
Actually,
no, he's right. Yeah. There were some Bills fans on Twitter not too happy.
See, like it definitely was true. I just do wonder when the Sabres are good again. Like when they're good again. When they make the playoffs, like we've had 10-ish years. Well, I guess since 2017, we've had 8-ish years of just the Bills being good. That's a whole generation.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. I think he's still right, but it's going to be interesting to see. It's not like it used to be, I think.
That's
the
fair.
world you grew up in is gone.
Yep.
All right. We crossed the 3-hour mark. Let's wrap it up. We stretched. All right, folks. If you made it through 3 hours, holy crap. I don't know. Go check yourself into a mental asylum or something. 3 hours. 3 hours spent with the two of us and a quick cameo from Christian is crazy.
Talking about a 5-4 Sabres team.
5, 4, and 3, and we spent 3 hours talking about them. Oh my God!
I think we literally brought up every player on the team.
I think, yeah. So.
Even the players on their that are their scratches right now. We even mentioned Kirsten. We mentioned Ellis, obviously.
Yep. Very funny. Well, if you made it, thank you very much for listening. Like we said, say it every week. We'll play it by ear. Never know when we'll hop on at some point midweek. But if not, we'll probably talk to you guys next Sunday after the 3 games this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at the Sabre Report on Twitter, also on Instagram, TikTok, and let me check my notes here. We started a Facebook account. We did. 0 followers right now. So if you're listening, you could be the first follower right now.
0 followers.
It's
Bring
dangerous.
some truth over to Facebook, please.
I've had enough of the AI slop like Bill's posts.
There is so much dangerous stuff that's written on
bad.
Facebook.
There are thousands of people walking around Buffalo believing fake AI stories.
It's very bad. I our mother talked. Remember with Jimmy Carlo, his big camp story for this for the Bills. He got cut. Other linebackers were playing good. There was a post on Facebook talking about that he got into this huge fight and that's why he was cut. He got into this huge fight in the locker room. I was like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that happens.
It's just Facebook is very dangerous.
Yeah. That's right. We're bringing truth back. True Sabres coverage.
Yep.
So if you're more of a Facebook person, then we have an account on there, and it'll be much like our Instagram feed. So go give it go toss it a follow. Go give our page a follow. If you want updates for the pod, you can follow us at Sabre Report Pod on Twitter. If you listen to this on YouTube, thank you very much for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell us what you thought down in the comments below. Obviously, a lot of Sabres topics covered. And also, as you see, we will read off some of your comments if they make me laugh. So, like I said, probably opening Pandora's box here, but it's for the content. Just gotta keep saying it to myself. We read all the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts. As we mentioned earlier, go give our friends over at the Buffalo Sports Talk podcast a listen. Huge Bills win today. They will have their recap in the coming days. They do great stuff over there. Great coverage. I know we joke about them, but they're really great at what they do. But yeah, 3 hours, 4 minutes later. Don't know how we did it.
Maybe this will become a regular. Who knows?
I don't know.
We've been, obviously this is very long. We've been like an hour 40 consistently this whole season.
I know. I don't know what changed this episode. I did not think this was going to be a 3 hour long.
We talked
thing.
about goalies for like a half hour.
That's probably, yeah.
And we didn't start talking about the Sabres until like 15, 20 minutes in.
This is true. Okay. I'm tapped out. I've had enough. We will see you guys next time. Thanks again for listening. Take care. And as always, go Sabres.
Go Sabres.